ever seen on film is that as much as our team has improved from the wide receiver position, from the being able to scheme passing plays for Jalen and trusting that he can make certain throws, we are still a team that is best suited when we run the ball, right? That's how I feel. So for me, and for me personally, I like us to start setting the tone of running the ball early in the games. And I feel like every so often we put the ball into Jalen's hands very early. And like I said, I have a trust for Jalen. I feel like Jalen can do certain things, but I also feel like it's foolish to not take advantage of the best line in football.
Not to mention our offensive line has managed to stay healthy for the first time. Like no injury reports for
for any of our guys. I think Opeta is hurt right now, or Sayamalu, one of them two is hurt.
Yeah, like Lane missed
a game,
like the second half of the Dallas game, but that's pretty much it.
So my thing is these teams that are running the ball on us, it feels like the equivalent of a boxer being hit with a bunch of power punches and choosing to jab back instead of trading the power punches. And it's like, oh, you're a power puncher. Since when did you start thinking the jab was your best technique?
Yeah.
And I feel like that is our issue, where it's like, can we pass the ball this year? Yes. Do I still feel like that's our best offensive strength? No. And I think two things can be very true. Like a game like the first Washington game, for example, is like, okay, if Jalen's hot, if the receivers are hot, we'll keep riding the hot hand. I'm not an idiot. But the Texan game where it was like, it felt like we didn't get going until we ran the ball in the second half. I would argue against the Lions, we didn't start getting going until we ran the ball. Like, it just feels like we forgot what got us good last year and what got Jalen to those 11 straight regular season wins was consistently being able to run the ball. Even him feeling like he had stopped running as much. And I guess we can transition from the negative into the bad. I really think Shane Steichen needs to take a look and say, hey, we need to start forcing teams to respect our run game again, and then setting up the pass off of that. There's no reason that A.J. Brown shouldn't be streaking open downfield or Quez downfield off play action. It feels like and I'm awesome. I'm grateful for the fact that we have guys like Devontae, like Dallas when he's healthy, like AJ, who can make contested catches against one-on-one man coverage. You dream of that. But I would also like some schematic plays where guys are streaking open. The last open downfield touchdown I can remember is the Quez Watkins play against Minnesota. That was 9 weeks ago. When was the last time you saw Jalen Hurts hit someone streaking down the seam or down the sideline with at least enough separation that you know that was created off of the play action?
We're not built for that.
No. What do you mean we're not built for that? No, we just don't run the ball enough to be built for that. You have 3 running backs, and it feels like I don't see any of the 3 enough. I don't see Miles. I darn sure don't see Boston Scott. And I don't know what Kenny Gainwell did, and I get it. Maybe Kenny Gainwell was the best pass protector. Okay, put him in and friggin' put him out wide.
Free Trey Sermon.
I saw Trey Sermon play one play, and I was like, ooh, I like this. And Nick Sirianni was like, I don't. And I was like, what? It was like,
you're gonna need that thumper in that playoff.
Exactly. And it's like, I like Boston Scott, but Kenny Gainwell could do all the stuff he can do, and he's like slightly more explosive. So you make Boston inactive and you bring up Sermon, and then you got that bruiser at the 1 yard line. Like, yes, you can use Jalen. You can go quarterback sneak at the 1 yard line, get it over with, get Jalen stats up, make him happy, make the team happy, whatever you want to say about that. But for me, something I don't understand is, as good as we are at short yardage, as good as we are at running, it feels like we don't dominate teams enough. We don't slow the game down. It's like we got these new toys, and now Nick's just like, my receivers. You see my receivers. And it's like, dude, we know you're a receivers coach. We get it. We understand.
We know you're a passing game coordinator.
We get it.
Like, scheme guys open.
Run the ball.
Yeah.
But Jalen was awesome in the second half against Indianapolis. Yeah. He wasn't really bad in the first half. We just didn't finish drives. And Indy's defense really did step up.
It's one of the best defenses in the league.
Seriously. And, they're hovering around 500 because of that defense. Devontae was great. AJ obviously looked way healthier than he did last week against the Commanders. That ankle clearly that week, like you pointed out last week on the show.
Quez redeemed himself with a touchdown.
Exactly. So, for everything I can complain about, which is why I wanted to start about that, I'm still pleased with the game. We did not start out playing well. We could have let last week creep into our minds, and then it would have been easy to fold it up home, and people would have been like, well, this is a Colts team. But no, this is a team you should beat. And on the road, they're not making it easy. You got to go take it. And we did that.
Yeah.
And I think my favorite part about it is us scoring and with, that much time on the clock, that when it came down to it, our defense really had to be the ones to win us the game, and they did. It was awesome because obviously we, the Brandon Graham penalty last week, and you never know what's happened if we were to get the ball back, and Jalen has a chance with a minute and something on the clock. But you could arguably say the defense kind of cost us that game, not being able to stop the run, the bad penalty on Heineke. So, but this week it stepped up big. It held the Colts pretty much the whole second half to nothing.
And here's what I'll say. Howie literally plays the exact same way that we play Madden, where it's like, dang, we really got gashed over the past several weeks. The run game, Jordan Davis is still about 2 weeks out before he can possibly play again. Yeah, we need to get some guys who are like 90 in terms of stopping the run.
I'm about to hit the free agent pile.
Yeah, I'm just like, Linville Joseph, Ndamukong Suh, get on over here. And people was like, oh, man, they're so low. And I'm like, you're not going to get an Aaron Donald in week 11 in the free agency pool. At that point, you take what you can get.
First of all, you got at least 7 combined Pro Bowls between 2 players.
Yes.
People with both, one with a ring and the other with plenty of playoff experience. You couldn't ask for 2. These are 2 guys that if you would have told someone 10 years ago, and I get it, someone can say it's 10 years ago. If you told someone even 5 years ago that your 2 starting D tackles were Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh, they'd assume you might have a pretty good defense.
Yes.
So those guys as now rotational pieces with once Jordan comes back, then you're getting Fletch some more time off. You got Hargrave. You still got Williams. You can fluctuate to the outside. Now you're talking about an 8, 9, 10-man rotation.
Yeah.
Then you can count in Reddick, who's good, who's coming off the edge, or he can put his hand in the ground. So it's like,
yeah, and the thing is that everybody's like, oh, well, Jonathan Gannon is terrible. But like, listen, you got 2 guys in free agency who specify in terms of when you look at their entire careers, what is the one thing? Ndamukong Suh, well, obviously he was a much dirtier player than when he was younger, but his specialty, especially coming out of Nebraska, was him being a run stuffer. Yep. Same with Linval Joseph, he was the 3-4 run stuffer. So once you get personnel guys in place in order to operate your system, it makes it a lot easier for you to do your system. That's why, in my opinion, everybody's like, Jonathan Gannon this, Jonathan Gannon that. I'm like, last year, he did as good as a job as really anybody could do, given what he was asked to coach. And when you look at that playoff game, like, oh, man, they lit up, it was 31-0. I'm like, their best pass rusher was gone. Brandon Graham was also out for the season. Josh Sweat was hurt as well. And our offense was just as bad, if not worse, because they kept giving Tom Brady short fields.
Exactly.
When you constantly give Tom Brady short fields, what do you really ask for that's a unrealistic expectation for you.
He's at least getting 3. You better pray. You better pray you give up the 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I couldn't agree with you more. And so when Chris and I feel like you'll agree with me here, Chris, speaking for both of us, when we are so critical of the Eagles, it's not that we're not enjoying the success. We are thinking about, okay, we have been so exponentially successful at this point. The next step is, what will we look like in a playoff atmosphere or against a playoff caliber team?
Yeah.
In that moment in January, whether it is in the link or whether it's on the road. So when we see mistakes, or when you see us struggling against teams like the Commanders, or teams like now the Commanders are on a roll. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And teams like the Colts, who had been on a little bit of a roll and had shown some fight, even under Frank Reich as well, but also obviously new fight under Jeff Saturday. You have to give them that. But we're thinking about what it's going to be like when you only have 1 game to correct mistakes, to not turn the ball over, to realize where something's trending. So it's like you got to come in there on your best accord with your best game plan.
You got to come correctly.
Exactly.
Other than that, that's it.
You're going home.
Yeah.
And so number 1 seed or not, and someone will come in here and punch us in the mouth.
Yes, and you look at the playoff field right now, like obviously, Byron Leftwich, Todd Bowles, championship coaching staff, even without Bruce Arians, and
the GOAT still is their quarterback.
Yes, and not to mention, you still have Devin White, you still have
Levante David.
Yes,
you still have Jamel Dean, you still have Antoine Winfield Jr. You got Carlton. See, here's the thing, right? Is Tampa's defense playing incredible? No, but one thing I will notice is, no, they don't have Sue anymore, but
Still got Vita Vea.
You still got Tyron. What's his name? I forgot. He got the really long name. Tyron something. Number 9.
Yeah.
I cannot remember his name, but great speed rusher off the edge. Young kid. Shaq Barrett is still over there, right? No, or Shaq Barrett and
Joe Tyron Shoyinka.
Yes. That guy. He's incredibly speedy off the edge. Reminds you of a younger Chandler Jones.
Yes, Vita Vea was also still probably one of the best run stuffing defensive lines in all.
So that defense,
pretty much everything I hope Jordan Davis will be.
You know what? Let's turn this into, obviously, we pretty much talked about the Colts game. It was a 17-16 game. Not really much to talk about.
But I will say this.
The Packers next week.
But I will say this. And you kind of glossed over it, but I cannot give enough credit for Jalen Hurts. Because at the fourth quarter, when we're down 2 scores, back-to-back drives, he did what he needed to do to get the win.
Yep.
And honestly, you needed a win like this because everybody was like, oh, well, because the biggest thing for me is that, like, is Jalen Hurts a front runner or does he have the ability to go in and win you a game on the road when everything else is going wrong? And that's what he did. So for that, that's why you're an MVP candidate. That's a guy in which if we need to decide this offseason whether we're just like, yeah, we'll just let him play out the last year of his rookie contract, or that's when we contract extend him, you'll remember those. You'll remember that moment where it's like when everything else is going wrong, he's still that bright spot to get us over the hump.
That's true. And that's kind of always what we've wanted to know. Could he be?
Yes.
Is that guy who could step up in a playoff moment or just in general in a big time spot and win us a game when other players can't. And like you said, he did that. I did want to talk about the playoff picture. Obviously, you have us as the number 1 seed, leading the NFC East, followed by the 8-2 Vikings with a healthy lead, and the NFC North. 49ers officially have taken over first place in the NFC West.
Yep. Then you got Tampa leading the South.
And then our 3 wildcard teams would be
Dallas,
the New York Giants, and obviously the Seahawks.
And with the Commanders really nipping on their heels.
Exactly. So followed by Atlanta. Don't sleep on Atlanta, man.
Yeah. Anyway.
Don't do that. So
by the way, shout out to Detroit.
Shout out to Detroit.
2 games, baby.
2 games, baby. 2 games out the wild card. They're in the playoff. No, real rad. Let's give a round of applause for Detroit.
Jared Goff, we trust, baby.
Come on. Let's go Detroit.
Oh God.
We should put some money on Detroit to make the playoffs. Why not? $10, probably win like $100. Why not? Let's go 5-on-5 a piece on Detroit. Let's go all in.
I can think of other ways to waste $10.
Heard.
Once again, you're listening to 98.5 WJYN, the Running Back Sports Show, Sports for the Culture. You want to call to join the discussion? The number is 215-763-9596. And in the AFC, we got, Miami fans felt some type of way with Justin Herbert because the Chiefs are still the number 1 seed. If the Chiefs would have lost, Miami would have overtaken them as the number 1 seed. Miami's now the number 2 seed, leading the AFC East, which is probably the most competitive division in all of football.
Yeah,
in the AFC,
everybody's at 6-4 at least.
Yeah,
that's the second best division of football besides the NFC East.
NFC Beast, baby.
The NFC Beast, baby.
We back.
We back up.
Yeah. Then we got the Tennessee Titans at 7-3. I like
Mike Vrabel, man.
I love Mike Vrabel.
I love with top 5 favorite coaches in the league. I love Mike. I would play for Mike Vrabel.
Unless we were everybody's hang up is it's Ryan Tannehill. But listen, in the end, Ryan Tannehill does what he's asked to do.
Ryan Tannehill's been to an AFC title game. There's a lot of folks that don't have a playoff win.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about? That meant no. Ryan Tannehill went into Foxborough and beat Tom Brady. People gloss over that. I don't care what team you have.
He went to Baltimore, which was the number 1 seed. Yeah, the MVP Lamar Jackson, and he won convincingly.
And let's not forget that was a 1-score game in Kansas City for a long. Stop playing with Ryan Tannehill, yo. I'm dead. He might not be the GOAT, but listen, sometimes it's all about not messing that money up.
Yeah. And they were the number 1 seed last year also.
And people forget about that. They just went into a buzzsaw Bengals team.
They started off 0-2 and they won 7 out of their last 8. And you can argue that if Ryan Tannehill plays in that Kansas City game, they beat the Chiefs.
Exactly.
Then you got Baltimore 7-3. Back to the natural order of things.
Lamar running the AFC East. Now, the only interesting thing is Cleveland obviously lost this weekend at 4-7.
Yeah.
Right. Deshaun Watson is
3-7.
No, they're 4-7.
It's 3-7.
3-7.
Yeah.
Okay. Deshaun Watson's practice window should be opening in the next couple of weeks.
He was allowed to practice this week. I think he just couldn't play.
So if you're Kevin Stefanski, if you're the GM over in Cleveland, what do? Do you just ride Brissett out and maybe you get a low draft pick and you come in next year with Watson with, I don't know, and Jigba Smith, or maybe you get another lineman or a young running back?
Remember, they don't have a first round pick that goes to Houston.
Oh yeah, so Deshaun next week.
Yeah,
we're there. We're 3. We left you 3-7. I mean, Amari's balling. He's healthy.
Yeah,
so that's good. That's a good thing.
I mean, he's balling. Nick Chubb is doing Nick Chubb things. He's 4th in the league in rushing. Donovan Peoples-Jones, David Njoku's finally healthy.
He's not coming back to a scrub squad.
Yeah, no.
And respectfully to Jacoby Brissett, who's been admirable this year, you'll be able to call a lot different play style when you have Deshaun.
Yeah, to be honest, the offense is what you expect with Jacoby Brissett. It's not a lot of rocking the boat. It's everything scripted for you. You have Nick Chubb, you have Kareem Hunt, you just running the ball. You do that with
play action.
Yes.
Short intermediate throws. So
honestly, the issue with Cleveland this year has been their defense. They've been getting gashed this year.
Yeah, exactly.
But this wild card picture is interesting because obviously you got Buffalo at 7-3, Patriots at 6-4, and then you got the Bengals at 6-4. Then you got the Jets who are on the outside looking in. The Chargers are 5-5, and the Colts aren't 4-6-1, so they're not really out of it yet.
Yeah, no. So let's play if the season ended today game.
Yes.
All right. So if the season ended today, our matchups would be the 2 seed Vikings taking on the 7 seed Seahawks.
Yes.
The 3 seed San Francisco 49ers taking on the 6 seed New York Giants.
Ooh.
And the 4 seeded Buccaneers hosting the 5 seeded Cowboys. Now we're gonna go game through game, matchup through matchup, and kind of see where we're at. So let's start with Vikings Seahawks.
Seahawks.
You're calling Seahawks?
Yes.
In Minnesota?
Yes.
I'm going Seahawks too. What I think Kenneth Walker be able to run the ball. I think Geno's not going to be. I think Geno's ready for this moment.
Yeah.
And we won't think about Kirk Cousins. He does have playoff wins, so we got to put a little respect on Kirk.
A playoff win.
You're right, a playoff win.
But still,
a playoff win is a playoff win. Some people ain't got any. Jalen.
Stop it, man.
I'm just being honest.
Leave that man alone.
But no. I all jokes aside though, I think I don't know. I just feel like that's a good matchup. I think Seattle's defense will try to keep everything in front of them. I don't think they'll be able to contain Justin Jefferson, but I do think they'll be able to contain Dalvin Cook.
I think that's the game Dalvin Cook's going to go off on.
Really?
Yes. Here's the thing about the Seahawks, and no one's really talking about this a lot. The Seahawks have, to me, the one corner in the entire NFL that be able to go against Justin Jefferson, and that's Tariq Woolen.
Oh, yeah. No, Tariq Woolen, I mean, he's got that size, that weight. I think he can be very, very physical with Jefferson as well. I also believe that Pete will have a scheme ready, and that, the D coordinator, who mind frame is escaping me. Well, I'm sure we'll look that up in a second. But I also think that they'll have the line to really get in and bother Kirk, and to be able to at least slow Dalvin down. I know you saying that you feel like he's going to have some sort of large, huge, at least 150 yard game or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
yeah, and
the
third man of our band is officially back.
Oh, you here in perfect time.
Yep.
We're having an interesting conversation. I think you'll want to get
Okay, but back to me about my Tariq.
So you're Tariq Woolen. Well, let's give Tariq Woolen his flowers while you're doing that. You set this up.
He was, to me, like everybody, like when I was covering the Senior Bowl back in February, there were 3 guys that everybody would absolutely love down in the Senior Bowl.
Yep.
It was Malik Willis.
Yes.
It was Christian Watson.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was Tariq Woolen.
Really?
The guy is 6'4". He runs a 4.340.
Jeez.
And every single time I watch this guy on tape, he obviously played in like the US, like a conference USA. So like it wasn't like a big Power 5 school, but every single thing I saw him, you know what he reminded me of? He reminded me of my favorite corner. You know what my favorite corner is, right?
The Island?
No, Antonio Cromartie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. Madden 07 flashbacks.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about this. Anyway, continue.
But yes, but you have a guy, and that's the thing about nowadays. I'm realizing like around the league is that bigger corners are now becoming the thing now in the league, because obviously the average size corners are like 5'9", 5'10" growing up, having to cover these 6'3" guys. But you have a guy who's a physical freak of nature like that going up against another route running aficionado, probably the best route runner in the league, Justin Jefferson, who's also freakishly athletic, who makes spectacular catches like the one we saw in that 4th and 18 game against Buffalo.
Seriously.
Like really, like only probably one other guy makes that catch.
Easily.
Yeah. And funny enough, Stephon Diggs made like a similar catch in that same game.
Of course he did.
Yeah. So like I feel like out of anybody in this entire playoff field, I feel like pound for pound, athleticism for athleticism, I feel like Tariq Woolen can match Justin Jefferson. Is he going to shut him down? Absolutely not. But he's going to make life difficult for him, where it's like Kirk Cousins now has to look at Adam Thielen and KJ Osborne.
Yeah, exactly.
And honestly, like if you're Pete Carroll,
and don't forget about TJ Hawkinson being in there.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's an X factor as well. But I'm just saying, like, I feel like Woolen, if he's allowed to shadow him, it's going to make life hard for that Vikings offense.
No, 100%. Okay, so I will counter with my thing that I think will help the Seahawks control this game is the Pete Carroll effect. Like, and we've obviously seen it with this team this year in general, but this team, when he's had obviously the time to kind of, I won't say remove the stink of Russell Wilson, but I mean, let's be kind of real, remove the stink of Russell Wilson. This team is like tough and fast and young, and they aren't afraid.
Yeah.
And I think Kenneth Walker runs like a grown man.
Yes.
And I think they're going to run all over the Vikings.
Oh, yeah, I remember him. Michigan State.
Yeah,
I remember those runs.
They're going to run all over the Vikings.
And the thing about Pete Carroll is that there was only 1 year in which he did not win a playoff game. And that was a few years ago when I believe like Jared Goff had to come back in this game, and he had the busted hand. That was the only time they didn't at least make it to the divisional round. Because remember, when they were 7-9, beast mode with
the Beastquake against the Saints, the defending champs.
Yeah, they won that game. They won in 2012, obviously against Washington. 2013, obviously they won it all. 2014, back-to-back Super Bowls. So like whenever Pete Carroll gets to the postseason, they at least win a playoff game. So my thing is that Minnesota, they're not really that battle tested. Like I like Kevin O'Connell. I like what he's been doing with this. It's kind of like similar to 2017, 1999, like all the success that they've had over the past few years in regards to what they've been doing. But in the end, experience like that coach, like if everything else is even, that coaching gives you the leverage.
And that's why I'm picking the Seahawks, because I think it won't matter that it's on the road. I think it won't matter that it's cold, because obviously Minnesota Stadium is insulated. It won't matter that it's like I just, for me, like, and this is my I just want Geno Smith to get a playoff win. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Why?
I just think that's so cool.
Why?
You said why do I want him to get a playoff win?
Because he's a career backup who's having a resurgence.
Yeah, I love stories like that.
Yeah, you're fantastical.
You know this though. Like this is literally the point of
this. I mean, let's be. I'm sorry, I heard y'all, but Seahawks are not winning this game.
Okay, so we've obviously you've walked in the middle of the game we're playing of if the field ended today, what the playoffs would look like. Right. So the 2-seeded Vikings will be hosting the 7-seeded Seahawks.
And the Vikings will blow them out.
Okay, argue the Vikings case.
Oh, that's very simple. Take the ball out of Kirk Cousins' hands. Put the ball in Dalvin Cook's hands. Short intermediary throws. Get Justin Jefferson on the post in single coverage, and you literally just shoot and gun the whole game. Because to be honest, you don't want to put the responsibility on Kirk.
No, not
you
at
don't.
all.
The Vikings defense is good. They'll hold you in the game.
Mhm.
With
Bend,
the
but don't break.
Seahawks is not explosive. They're just really good right now. They're
They
like
make you play smart football.
right, but they're not the Chiefs. They're
No.
not the Bills. They're
No.
not the Dolphins. They're
Very,
not going to.
very few teams are, but still, Kenneth Walker's a game breaker.
Right.
DK Metcalf's a game breaker.
But do you see them putting up 30 points in the playoffs?
No, I
No.
don't. I agree with you.
I see the Vikings putting up 30 in the playoffs. I do. I don't think the Vikings are going to win against a good team. But you talk about their first matchup is the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Geno ain't never seen them bright lights. Kirk has. And
we seen what Kirk doing them.
we have, but Kirk has literally, even including this year and his years previous, his primetime games are terrible. He's just not really that great. What is his record? Like 2-10 or something like
something
that?
crazy like that.
It's like
yeah.
something like really
210 and
horrible. He has like a
something stupid.
200%.
Then he got like a tie in there. Something.
Right. But with that being said, Kirk's also playing for his job.
Very much so, because that
Because
guarantee
who cares
money
about the
is done
money?
this year.
Yeah, right. Who cares?
And you don't think Geno's playing for his job?
No, I'm gonna tell you why.
No.
Because I think Geno's already given himself grace to get another starting job, regardless if it's in Seattle or somewhere else next
That's
year.
fair.
Seahawks are so good because Geno's at the helm. All you need is the Jets.
I could see Geno.
Because think about it, Wilson's not going to be their quarterback next year. So
Geno
what if
goes
Geno
back to
goes
the
back to New
Jets?
York Jets? And this is a whole different staff. And all you need Geno to do is to be Geno. If Geno was on the New York Jets right now, the Jets would be the best team in that division.
If the Jets played Joe Flacco, they'd be leading that division. I'm not even trying.
Oh,
to
most definitely.
No,
I mean, listen,
like
even
Will
when
Ragland.
Zach Wilson missed like part of the season, like Joe Flacco was top 5 in passing yards.
He was cooking.
right. So my point is, like, so you're saying it's Kirk versus Geno. Because outside of that, the Vikings are just superiorly talented.
Well, okay, so our argument, and I think obviously was the Pete Carroll effect. If you're asking me who I'm choosing on that day,
The who
as
effect? The
Pete
man
Carroll.
who hasn't won anything in how many years?
Yeah, but I still think if you're talking about a rookie head coach in his first game at home where you're expected to win, that feels like that smells of a playoff.
You want to
upset.
talk about rookie head coaches that went to that took it almost all the way? Because we can. Because I'm gonna be honest, rookie head coaches is not like rookie quarterbacks. Because a rookie head coach, as long as he got the acumen, the poise, and the calm, and he can listen. Do we forget like the Jets? From I forget, what was it like 12, 13 years ago? They went to the playoffs with a
Yeah,
rookie
the Rex
head coach
Ryan.
and a rookie
quarterback.
quarterback. There's many cases where that's been the case. My biggest problem would be if my quarterback was a rookie. If
Okay.
my head coach is a rookie, think about it. If my head coach is a rookie, Sirianni would have been a better argument last year because Sirianni had a bunch of coaches who were young, who have never been in that position.
Yeah.
Most rookie head coaches always put experience next to them.
Mhm.
So if I'm walking into this playoffs and I'm the Vikings got a great defensive coordinator. They got really good coaches. Their rookie head coach is a rookie head coach, but he's done an admirable job with a bewildering quarterback who is just not really anything.
Kirk, man.
So sorry if you're telling me they're playing in Minnesota, last time Minnesota played in Minnesota during the playoffs, they
It was the
lost.
Minnesota Miracle. No, it was the Miracle. Minnesota Miracle.
Who they play?
That was when they beat the Saints on the last second.
You're
Stephon
right.
Diggs on.
You're right.
That was the last time they had a home
Okay.
playoff game.
Okay. So before that though,
Well, no,
They don't
no.
have-
Before that, they beat the Saints.
When? That was in New Orleans.
Yeah.
That was
No,
New
he's saying home play.
No,
He's saying
home
that last
playoff.
home
Oh,
playoff
okay,
game.
yeah.
That
Minnesota,
was Minneapolis
like
Miracle. Yeah.
Minnesota don't get a lot of home playoff games.
No, they do not. And they rock. I will say this: as much as we give them crap, they fans rock.
Their
They-
fans
they-
rock.
they-
But
they-
also the Vikings, yes, they've lost a game or two. And they're a game down, but they're still a really good team. And you talking about they're about to walk into the playoffs and play Geno. Geno beat them. I love Geno. But let's be real. Geno and who?
I see. I don't want to just say I was picking underdog for the
You
superlatives.
love picking underdog.
I do love picking underdog.
You are
I do.
underdog lover.
I
that
do.
probably was your favorite cartoon. Underdog.
Underdog.
But Kenneth Walker, I feel like he's the X factor because
You're
if I'm
such a
saying,
millennial black man.
because if I'm saying, I hate you.
You're such a millennial black man. I'm all about the underdog. We gotta win.
Come on,
Yes.
small businesses.
Come on, black quarterback.
But
Sorry. When it
if
comes to
they could-
sports, I really don't give a
If they
crap.
could run the ball and control the clock, I agree with you that I think Minnesota will score if they hold the ball. If Minnesota has
Minnesota's
6
gonna score
possessions,
anyway.
regardless, yes, but I do. Yes. Okay. So agreeing with your point, the only chance Seattle has is to control the clock. And I think Geno won't make mistakes, and I think they can run the ball.
Oh, I
So if
agree.
you're asking, can they beat them
Vikings
21
run
seconds?
defense.
And
is
not to
good, though.
mention, Geno
21-17.
uses the most out of his weapons as opposed to what we've seen from Russell Wilson. He uses his tight ends. He uses Noah Fant. He uses Will Disley.
Why you go spicy with Russell? Why you go
'Cause he
spicy
been
with
pooped
Russell?
this year. Let's
First
be
off,
real.
Russell's been pooped for the last couple of years, but stop disrespecting Russell's legacy. He made terrible players good.
That's true.
Like, I mean, now he ain't. Now he making
and look-
great players look bad.
And the thing is
but-
that they invested actually a first-round pick into getting an offensive lineman. And look, Lord of behold, their offensive line is actually a pretty good one now.
That's true.
Yeah, so like the first time a first-round pick actually looked pretty good.
Yes.
And all I'm gonna say is this: like, listen, Justin Jefferson is the X factor, but like I said, you shadow him with Tariq Woolen. You have Quandre Diggs also shadow him over the top as well.
Exactly.
Listen, because all the thing, if Justin Jefferson it goes into that game with 3 catches for 36 yards, you have a chance to win that game.
Exactly. And that is pretty much my biggest argument is that if you're asking me to pick and why I'm picking, it's just because I agree with Corey when he says the Vikings are clearly flat out the more talented team. That's not even a question. But I do think that I've seen a Pete Carroll team that wasn't as talented as the team that came
In
into their
regards to
stadium and
talent,
won.
what are we defining as talent?
The Vikings have more game-breaking and game-changing players on either side of the ball.
That's true. That is most definitely.
I'm sorry, that's
their
just
their
a
running
fact.
back and their wide receiver alone is better than
top
the
5 in
whole
their
Seahawks
position.
offense.
So I can argue that Kenneth Gainwell and DK Metcalf are game breakers as well.
Yeah, DK Metcalf is not a game breaker, but he has game
I
breaker
think
ability.
I'll be honest, his impact has been subdued because
He don't got Russell.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. Russell had a great deep ball, and DK literally is a deep ball receiver. DK is not AJ. And I don't mean no disrespect to DK because if we go back, I would still take DK. But
facts. But I mean, we also had Whiteside, so you take anybody at that point. But still.
I mean, we ain't
T.
gonna talk about
Higgins.
that.
Oh God, we could have had scary Terry. Oh, anyway.
But
Stop.
the point is, DK does not catch the ball over the middle like AJ.
No.
He does not run crisp routes like AJ.
No.
That's why you got Tyler Lockett.
You do have
You
Tyler
know
Lockett,
what he
but
is.
But how hard is it for me to really defend DK and
He's
Tyler
Deshaun
Lockett?
Watson in a monster body.
You are real disrespectful.
He is though.
You are super
Am I wrong?
disrespectful. I just feel like
Without the
disrespectful
off-field,
to Deshaun
without the
Watson.
off-field issues.
No,
Because
Deshaun
Deshaun
Jackson.
Watson
No,
is
Deshaun Jackson. I'm saying no. I'm saying
Oh,
DK
okay.
Metcalf is Deshaun Jackson in a monster suit.
no.
Yes, he is.
Because you seem to forget when D-Jax first came here, that boy was catching balls over the middle. He was
That's
catching
true.
he was catching
Dante
screens and
Robinson
running them.
destroyed him.
I
forgot
mean,
him.
listen, he used to take 60 yarders from behind the line of scrimmage to the TD. He used to catch
That's true.
he
You
used
right.
to catch
You
three-step slants and be gone.
Rookie D-Jack was different.
Rookie D-Jack. I mean, first 3 years D-Jack, because let's not do rookie D-Jack. It was D-Jack until he left. D-Jack was good. It was the fact that we had Macklin, who was just like Jason Avant with athleticism. Like, because you know how we love Jason.
Yeah.
Jason is automatic hands.
Who? Love who?
Jason Avant.
No.
Hands Avant, baby.
No.
Hands
Cheeks.
Avant.
Cheeks.
Your cheeks.
You know who I really love? Todd Pinkston.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, remind me if you want to call into the station and let me know how we should fight Jamal after this show for disrespecting me in a way that is just unforgivable. He's been doing it for the last week. To be fair, I am tall and slender.
Listen, here's the thing. The only thing I remember about Todd Pinkston is 1 or 2 things. Him scaring to catch him literally just alligator bodying a deep ball because he didn't want to get hit, and him leaving the Super Bowl because of cramps.
Okay.
I was gonna
Okay.
make a joke that I shouldn't make in 2022, so I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Oh boy.
It
It's nice knowing y'all.
was like the running back sports show is done here.
I mean, honestly, as long as you don't talk about 3 things, the rest of the world is sensitive.
Who?
I mean, we just being real about it.
No.
You don't talk about somebody's culture. You don't talk about somebody's religion, and you don't talk about women. Outside of that, everything is up in the air. Y'all just sensitive.
Talk to him. Tell him this generation they sensitive.
Well, I mean, it's very true. I mean, look at the Tampax tweet. People are trying to cancel Tampax because they caught on to the trend of
you're in the we're not the same
we're,
thing.
like
And I
you in their DMs, we're in them.
That was
And
incredible,
everybody's
by
like,
the way.
it was an incredible marketing ploy.
Incredible.
Like,
Oh yeah, I saw that. I laughed.
Oh
right.
my God.
Like, but that's the thing. Anybody who has a relative sense of humor finds that funny. All these people that are so woke, and let's be real about something. Wokeness is just you coming into your basic empathy, because wokeness is what you should have already had. So you're coming into this, and all of a sudden now it's like, oh my God, it's sensitive, super sensitive this, super sensitive that. Now we're taking everything, we want to make it a touchy-feely topic. Be careful, that's taboo. Again, the world is sensitive, because just like a simple tweet like Tampax, people want to cancel them for something that literally is innocent. It is what it is. Tampons does a certain thing. They literally mentioned the thing that it does, and you want to cancel them because it came off what? Pervy? It's a little incest. That's a little sensitive. Like, people need to calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
Calm down a little bit.
Yeah. So anyway, yep.
By the way, I love this. What is this? Do-rag hat?
Well, it's a stocking cap because I don't want.
You got a stocking cap on your head?
Yeah, because I don't want to wear the full head wrap that I wear at night.
Yeah. You look like somebody mama going to the grocery store.
Listen, I need a retwist.
You need more than a retwist.
Listen, look, when he was standing up, I was like, listen, you just look like a Florida Gator scout.
My man, Chris, I missed you.
You look like an assistant quarterbacks coach for Anthony Richardson.
Ooh. Anywho, let's talk about the Proceed 5-4 matchup.
You look like
before
Jameis
I put
Winston when he
hands
stole
on
them
y'all.
crabs.
Oh, we're not talking about the 49ers and the Giants?
I said the 5. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. The 6-3 matchup. Anyway, so the New York Giants will be heading to Levi Stadium anyway. So does anybody want to make the case for New York? Does anybody want to try at least?
For what?
So New York, the 6-3 matchup.
We're doing it the season ended today.
Yeah. So the 6-3 matchup will be New York going to San Francisco. Does anyone want to try and make
San
the
Fran
argument?
is destroying them.
That's why I was just going to skip it.
Destroying them. First off, New York shouldn't even. New York, listen, if you are a New York Giants
Okay.
fan and you are listening right now, listen, you should be proud of your team. Your team is overcompensating and therefore getting wins off of it. Your team is not good. Saquon Barkley still ain't Saquon from rookie year. Saquon is just, I got strong legs and you still can't get me down to the ground that easy. Okay, I can deal with that. You got a little explosiveness. Your wide receiver core is still less than spectacular. Your quarterback is still Daniel Jones. And your best strength is your defense. And let's be honest, your defense has no chance against San Fran because you got to play CMC. You got to play
Debo.
No, because you know
George Kittle.
I'm about to go to my man. I'm about to go to the number one, smoothest, most handsomest quarterback.
Oh, Hemi Garoppolo.
Hemi
Garoppolo.
Hemi don't do nothing but win in the playoffs. I
Facts.
don't care what you tell me.
No, that's
so
right.
CMC with Hemi, with my man Kittle, with Debo, with Ayuk. Come on, they not touching New
Don't
York.
forget about-
Honestly,
don't-
I'm scared to play San Fran right now.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Don't forget about Kyle.
Kyle who?
Kyle Juszczyk.
Kyle who? Say it
So
again.
wait.
The best fullback in the game.
Okay, so since none of us believe New York should be in the playoffs, and none of us believe
No.
they're gonna be in the- in
Stop
the
that. I never said that. They deserve to be in the playoffs. They just can't win a game. And that's going to be proven. Mark the date. They're not going to win a game. Mark the date. They're not going to score more than 20 points in that playoff game.
Oh no, San Fran's gonna be.
They're going to beat the brakes off.
They're gonna
of
beat the
them.
brakes off.
Listen, at this point, they're going to have practice squad wide receivers. They're going to be running George.
Oh yeah, because Wandale Robinson just tore
Yeah,
his
George
ACL.
Mason. At this point, they're going to be running Greg Ward and JJ
Bruh.
Arcega-Whiteside at wide receiver.
I'll be real. If they can get a quarterback somehow, some way, and one receiver, they're not that far off.
Well, that one
Dable's over there doing it.
Can
I'm
we
being honest.
San Fran?
No.
Giants?
Giants. They're not
Oh,
that far off. I'm serious.
They're
have
going to get
coaching
Geno
now.
Smith.
They're not that. I'm being honest. I'm being real. Like they're not that far off from what they try to play. What they just don't have the talent yet.
Listen, I'll
No,
say
that's a
listen,
lie. They got the talent.
Listen, here's the thing.
On the defensive side of the ball, they got the talent.
Oh no, I'm saying the offensive.
Well, offensively, that's easy. They got a lot of bread. All you got to do is just convince somebody to come to New York. And New York's not a hard market to convince somebody to come to. You just
Listen,
need a better
listen,
quarterback.
That's it.
Listen, at this point, that number one wide receiver was supposed to be Kenny Galladay, but we all saw
Who?
They paid him 19 million, yo.
Who?
Yeah. But
Yo.
listen, here's the thing. As a big Daniel Jones detractor, here's what's going to happen. They're going to franchise tag him. They're going to be like, listen.
No,
this-
you let him walk.
Yeah, you do not franchise.
You
tag
let
that.
him walk
You do not franchise
and figure
tag
it
that.
out. Because
First off, figure it out. I could sign Gardner Minshew. He gonna give me better production.
That's what I mean by
like,
figure it
I'm
out.
not
Is
trying to
left open
disrespect
ended.
Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones' best asset is his legs because he got it. His arm is not terrible, but he ain't got the mind. He ain't got the quickness in his decision making to make those throws when he need to make those throws. He's always a half a step late or just a millisecond off. And when he does decide to throw with authority, he takes too many dumb chances,
Yep.
throwing it into double coverage, throwing it in the middle of the field when you're about to get sacked and you're just hoping that you got OBJ somewhere back there or JJ who's about to catch a Randy Moss.
Exactly.
DJ, you ain't got none of them on your team, bro.
Nothing.
Nothing. Honestly, if the Giants really want to figure out a game plan
Getting
to
rid of
win,
OBJ was the worst thing for his development.
if the Giants want to win, I'm gonna give you the blueprint to how they win that game.
Ooh,
You run Saquon into the ground.
and Daniel Jones into the ground.
You literally give Saquon 40 attempts, and every time you don't, you RPO. You literally make that time of possession go 35-25
The 49ers, Yeah, but also the 49ers is the worst team you could possibly do that on.
See, but this is the thing. I completely agree. But you don't have any other chance
at all.
You can't beat them through the air.
No,
You can't, because their defensive line is so good. You can't get the time to throw.
Nick Bosa's on your
And
line.
what you need to do is you need to make their defensive line irrelevant. What's the easiest way in football to make a defensive line irrelevant?
The run game.
You run that ball. Even when you get 2 yards, you run it again. You get 2 yards, you run it again. You keep running it, because what it does is, even if you don't do nothing against that San Fran defensive line, you tire them out. You wear them down. You beat them into the ground. So by the second half, if you are even within 10 or 7 points, you got a ball game, because now that defensive line they've been beaten. See, that's the thing. Everybody know when it comes to the playoffs, there's 2 ways you win in the playoffs.
Yep.
The run game and the defense. Everybody wants to talk about the air attack. But the truth of the matter is time of possession. It's how I can control the clock. And if you got such a dynamic passing offense like a Tom Brady or a Patrick Mahomes or Aaron, when Aaron is actually Aaron, then maybe you can do that. But in the playoffs, think about it. Baltimore got there how? Running in defense.
Yep.
Pittsburgh gets there how? Running in defense. Every really good team that makes it to the Super Bowl get there through their run game. Seattle, Marshawn, beast mode, defense, Legion of Boom. You don't have another shot when you're a team that don't got the capabilities on the hash marks. See, the difference is the Eagles, if they were going into the playoffs, that's why everybody's saying they're so scared of playing the Eagles in the playoffs. It's not listen, everybody can talk about their flounder the last 2 games. The reason why everybody's going to be frightened of playing them is because you got Miles Sanders, you got Jalen Hurts, you got Boston Scott, you got Trey Sermon. If you ever decide to give him time, because God knows,
Trey Sermon.
Please free Trey Sermon. I like Boston, but Boston need to go to Boston.
Facts.
Like, we really have an affinity for
really
backups in this city, right? There's a backup quarterback, a backup running back, or a backup safety. Because if you want to know what I'm talking about every backup safety that we had that never really panned out, including the guy that everybody's overhyping this year, Marcus Epps. Because Marcus,
you ever heard what your man think about Nick Foles?
Who? Oh, you mean the greatest overrated quarterback in history? Easy.
Well, as long as you said greatest.
Yes, the greatest overrated quarterback.
At least it's greatest.
Because like me and Jamal was explaining a couple of days ago, Nick Foles has literally 2 great moments in his career, the 27-2 season and the literal Super Bowl. He's done nothing in his career. But everybody thinks that Nick Foles is BD Nick. You ain't never been BD Nick. You literally had a great year playing with Deshaun Jackson, Jeremy Maclin, and LaShawn McCoy. Of course, you had 27-2. It's kind of hard when you got a wide receiver who runs a 4.2, a wide receiver who runs a 4.3, and a LaShawn McCoy who thinks he's Barry Sanders.
So we're not supposed to get our quarterback weapons?
It's not a matter of that. He said that he asked me the question, so you're telling me you don't think Nick Foles ever won a game? I said, no. You go back and look at that Super Bowl. He did not win the game. He did what Nick Foles does best and just had the greatest moment of his career. He managed the game because think about it. Like I told him, everybody who scored or made an impact in that game don't play in the league. Name him.
LeGarrett's retired.
LeGarrette wasn't even good when he got there. He was on the last leg, and he gave you. It was like having a Ford F-150 with 195,000 miles and a carburetor problem. You just got that one day. Oh, you won't give me the point A to point B today? That's exactly what it did. Just get me to the lot. That's what LeGarrette was. Nelson was the Dodge Neon. Nelson was the guy that was just underwhelming his whole career. And then that one day you needed to get somewhere, you get up in your Dodge Neon because you know your Dodge Neon going to go somewhere. They're going to get there fast, and it may not be pretty, it may not be sexy, but it's going to get there. That was Nelson. Then you had Trey Burton. Trey Burton was the tractor. He wasn't good. He ain't had nothing to do with life. He just happened to be our third tight end who maybe just caught a pass every once in a while. We're like, oh, we love backups. But what did he do during the Super Bowl?
Every Trey Burton first down catch was the loudest reaction in the stadium.
It was literally like when Ben Simmons hit a 3. It was like, oh my God, you did something.
That was the day I knew it was done, by the way. When they celebrated him hitting the 3. I said,
Alshon Jeffrey ruined his career having to catch a pass behind his back with his body contorted in the weirdest part of the end zone to save a Nick Foles pass. But Nick Foles won the game. Sorry. Like you said, Nick Foles left the field with the lead. I get that, but the Eagles scored first. And Brandon Graham was the only reason why we even got that game to go through. Nick Foles didn't win the game. Nick Foles didn't throw no game-winning touchdown. He didn't use it with his
technically
legs.
did.
He technically did.
No.
He threw it to Zach Ertz. Oh,
We
by the
were
way,
down.
Zach Ertz is still in the league.
Twilight. Keep talking.
Zach Ertz barely in the league.
Twilight.
Zach Ertz is in the league.
There's
Like
a reason
I'm
why we
still
traded him.
I'm still athletic.
He was never athletic.
No, I'm saying
Right.
I'm,
Right. Again, like I said, I don't hate Nick Foles. He knows I love Nick Foles, but I recognize Nick Foles for what he is. Everybody, every dog got a good day, bro. Everybody has
every
a moment.
broken clock. is
You can
straight
tell me,
twice a
Chris,
day.
man to man, you had a day in your life where no matter the 400 months you've been alive, one day you was on top of the world. I don't know what that day was, but we've all had that day. For me, it was when I had my kids. But regardless, you had that one day where you were invincible.
Oh no, y'all two was there.
That was
Y'all two was there when I had that day.
yeah, we was. Pound it out. Pound it out. You slow. I love you.
God damn it, man.
You slow. Oh man.
Oh, anyway,
Boy.
anyway,
Molly.
anyway, the 4 to 5
What you
matchup.
drinking?
Anyway, the 4 to 5 matchup will be Tampa Bay hosting the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, Tampa's going to
Ooh.
win that game.
Oh, all right. I'm going Dallas.
Y'all know I love to talk spicy.
I know.
Y'all not been waiting
I
for
know.
this.
I know.
And you know I'm like Stephen A. when it comes to Dallas.
I know.
Dallas,
It sound
you
disgusting.
ain't won none in
I
27
know, I
years.
know.
Dallas,
All right, so
you got Dak the
I'm
whack
going. I know.
Prescott.
All right, so I'm going to make the case.
CD, I drop a ball when I don't need to. Lamb.
Hold on.
You got
Hold on.
Zeke. I used to be a freak. Elliott. You got Tony. He ate a couple collars. Pollard. Listen.
I have 2 words for why I think Dallas wins, and it's not Dak Prescott. It's not Ezekiel Elliott.
I got 2 words
It's
for why
not
Tampa
Tony
Bay
Pollard.
will win.
I
Micah
know what your
Parsons?
2 words.
Micah
Micah Parsons. That's if you ask me what it is to talk, according to it's literally the fact that I think he's gonna do some freak. Any other time,
I'm
I
gonna
would
tell you
bet
exactly how
he's
Tampa Bay's
gonna
gonna win
have
that game.
2.5 sacks
Nope.
and he will
Nope.
recover a fumble and
Nope.
score a 60-yard
Nope.
touchdown. That's gonna be different.
Not at all. And I'm
No.
gonna tell you why.
He going to destroy Tom Owen.
Nope. He ain't gonna have a chance. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because one, Tom Brady is one of the greatest quarterbacks at getting the ball out fast. He's one of the greatest check down game managing quarterbacks of all time. Listen, Tom Brady ain't Patrick Mahomes. Tom Brady ain't Aaron Rodgers. Tom Brady ain't Peyton Manning. Tom Brady ain't Warren Moon. Tom Brady ain't Dante Culpepper. He was not Don McNabb. In other words, Tom Brady never had a gunslinging arm. Tom Brady had impeccable timing and the ability to get the ball where it needed to be every single time.
And the biggest quarterback vision board on Madden 06.
Right. You ain't never lie. So you want to know how they'll beat Dallas? The same way every team's going to beat Dallas.
They'll beat them the same way the 49ers did last year.
No, it's easy. We've already watched it this year. Dallas blueprint is simple. The problem is ain't nobody going to use it until they get to the playoffs because that's smart. You literally run the ball because Dallas is so into Micah and they need Micah to be Micah. You're going to put Micah at the linebacker position. The games that Dallas lost this year, if you look, where was Micah? As a linebacker, you neutralize him. Micah's going to be Micah. Yeah, you may call him the next LT, but baby, you're going to be the next LT from the backfield when we play in the playoffs. You're not going to put your hand in the trenches because I know if I let you put your hand in the trenches, you're going to destroy me. So if I run the ball, if I RPO on you, just like the Eagles did, I know that I can beat you because your greatest asset on defense is number 11. That's the only way that everybody considers your defense to be great. You could talk about everybody else. Trayvon Diggs is whack, overrated, bum, literally just as advantageous. He's Avante Matt. He's Asante Samuel
but less
with height,
talented.
and faster. That's it. He has height and he's faster, but he's Asante Samuel. He don't tackle. He literally has mind gaps every 5 seconds, but he catches that one interception and everybody's like, he's the greatest cornerback in the league. You've never been the greatest cornerback in the league. You've never even been top 5. Everybody got hype off of last year, and look what happened this year. Where's all your interceptions, Trayvon? You getting beat every chance you get, Trayvon. I am not scared of anything about Dallas outside of one factor, and that's Micah. So what do I do with Micah? I put Micah's hand on his hip, and I tell him that he got to stand up. That's how I beat Dallas in the playoffs because CD's going to drop balls. Dak's going to be Dak. And Mike McCarthy, we all know who Mike is.
Yeah, that's fair.
On the other side, I got Bruce Arians. I got Brady, who's
Bruce
still
Arians is gone.
Sorry.
Todd Bowles.
Todd Bowles.
But still.
Great defensive mind. I still got Tom Brady. I still got Mike Evans. I have Godwin?
Godwin's back.
I got Godwin back.
Julio Jones.
I got Julio, and I got a runner. And I got a running back.
To be honest, the only thing about the Bucks that
They started off slow though, and that's
Well,
what really killed
no,
them.
the only thing
They
about the
did
Bucks is
start very
that
slow.
I'm really weary about how much their offensive line will hold up, like especially like in the second half.
That
of the
is
season.
that is the factor of why I will give you that you could say
That's
Dallas
the only
will win.
reason I'm picking
But
Dallas.
again, like I said,
Honestly.
But
if
also,
my
but also at the same point, like also when my boy Jeff called, he's like Dallas doesn't really put anybody. They don't have anybody to put their hands in the dirt and really go after anybody. So if you really want to go after them, it's you run the football. We saw it last year against the 49ers. They gave the ball to Deebo Samuel. They gave the ball to Elijah Mitchell. And like they just, at that point, they just ran the ball all over them. That's why time of possession is how you beat Dallas.
Mhm. And you're right about that. And you're right.
And you got to think like Dallas's offense, like sure, like they put up 40 points against the Minnesota Vikings, but you also think they're missing Amari Cooper. Like,
bad.
yeah.
Man,
And it's like I like CD, but in a playoff game in which everybody's going to be focused on you, and Todd Bowles is probably one of the best defensive minds in all of football. So like that's going to be like a hard thing to like register. Also,
And
like
how do you bet against Tom? Like I get it. Tom ain't been Tom this year. I get it. The Tampa Bay ain't scary this year, but it's still Tom. It's just like if Aaron Rodgers made the playoffs, I'm gonna tell you now, you can say Aaron Rodgers is a scrub now all you want. When the bright lights come on, I trust the guys who've been there every year for all their whole career.
The reason I'm not betting against Tom, I will say this, and this is I'm throwing up my mouth saying this. Dak's
You've
got
been
heart
throwing
in
up
the
a lot
playoffs.
today.
He does. I have to be if we're talking.
You said Dak what?
Has heart in the playoffs.
It doesn't. Dak got heart. Period. Dak just ain't that guy.
He doesn't have time management though.
No, and he's just not that guy. Like, can we please stop? Like, I get it. When Carson was drafted and we had the whole Carson versus Dak, and it was like, then Dak had, like, he went off it, and Dallas was forced to give him his money, and everybody was like, oh, yeah, Dak's one of the top quarterbacks in the league. Dak's only been a top quarterback in the league for like a year. For literally like a year. And that was his contract year.
It was the COVID season.
Like, Dak is good. Don't get me wrong. He's still better than like 20 quarterbacks in the league, but Dak ain't that guy. And if we really want to be honest, Jalen has surpassed him easily. And I love, who was it that said it on air? I think it was Shannon Sharp. It definitely was Skip Bayless, who is an avid and crazy Cowboys fan. He himself said it. Listen, when a man who never ever wants to talk bad about his team literally says that the team that he hates the most quarterback is better than his quarterback, listen, I see it with my eyes, but I'm definitely gonna take it when you look, because I don't watch Dallas every day. I don't really care about Dallas. I watch their highlights, but I don't watch their games because I just can't stand that blue.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand nothing about that star. Like, for me, that's like literally a slap in my face, because you told me you're America's team. You ain't been America's team ever. You called yourself America's team when you was winning those chips that you bought, and now you're mad because now you want to say the Eagles are buying a chip. Baby, sit down. Y'all not that good, and you never will be again until you get rid of the guy who's running your team.
You mean the guy who owns it?
Same difference, isn't it?
It's always been
because he can own it. I don't mind him owning it, but the boy don't got to run it.
It's always been.
Daniel Snyder don't run the Commanders. I mean, he need to get out. He need to get out, but he don't run the Commanders. Jeffrey Lurie owns the Eagles, but he don't run the Eagles. Jerry Jones runs the Cowboys. He needs to go to paradise, and I don't mean heaven. I mean to Bali.
Listen, in the end, if the Bucks, if everybody else is healthy, like Godwin's healthy, Julio's healthy, Mike Evans is back on the field, LeGarrette Blount's healthy, you get your starting what's left of your starting offensive line back, and like Vita Vea is especially healthy, like Buccaneers win that game convincingly.
Oh yes, but
because the biggest strength that Dallas has is the running attack. And if Vita Vea is healthy, that neutralizes it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you try to get to that second level, you got Levante David and Devin White right there as well.
I love Devin White.
So like
So if we're going with majority rules, right?
Yeah.
Our results so far have been the Seahawks upsetting the Vikings.
No, it hasn't. But
yes, it was. Well, we 2-1.
2-1.
Majority rules.
Yeah, but I'm taller.
Next, you gonna say you older, huh?
Oh my God.
You doing shade. You're right. I'm a little older.
He who has the most hair on their head makes the rules.
Oh, you are real disrespectful because I just cut all my hair off. You are so disrespectful. Like, okay, I give both of y'all that. All right, so Seahawks are going to be divided.
49ers beat the
Giants convincingly. That was a sweep.
49ers beat the Giants. That's not even.
And you guys both picked Tampa to beat.
They're going to upset Dallas.
So the second round, before we move on to the AFC first round, since we're doing the whole bracket,
It'd be the Seahawks going.
Going to Philly.
That's easy.
That's easy.
And
Anyway,
that's not even biased.
No.
All right. So real quick, let's slow down. Let me tell you why it's not biased for those that are listening, because obviously we are 3 super Eagle fans.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm a super Philly fan, but in this retrospect, you understand what we're talking about.
Exactly.
So the reason why it's not even it's not, I don't even have to think about it, is because one, you're walking into my city. You're walking into Philadelphia, which is not an easy place to play. And it's definitely not an easy place to play when we have something to play for. It's one thing when we ain't got nothing to play for. But when you tell a rabid fan base that you're supposed to be in a Super Bowl and we need you to turn up, listen, we've seen how crowds affect teams. And then on top of that, Seattle may come from a cold weather state into a cold weather state and it may be neutralized, but baby, you are coming 3,000 miles over to me. You want to play me in my town against a defensive line that has.
Read it down. Read it down, please.
Hassan Reddick, Milton Williams, Fletcher Cox, Ndamukong Suh, Taylor, Linval Joseph. Wait, hold up. Javon Hargrave. Brandon Graham.
Josh Sweat.
Wait, stop. Let's go linebackers. TJ. I don't need nothing else from that linebacker core because Kaiser is amazing. But Kaiser. TJ is literally going to give tackle for loss almost every other play, because the one thing about Seattle that they don't have that everybody don't want to recognize is you don't have the running game to beat us. You don't. Like, yes, we get gashed by the running game. We won't by the playoffs with Jordan Davis, who we not mentioned.
Oh, gosh.
The monster. Like, and let's say that there's a healthy D-line with TJ Edwards, Kaiser White, and then Nakobe Dean, who's still yet to really get a shot. Then on back end, you got who's probably going to be, if not Micah Parsons, and he gets 2 more, 3 more interceptions, the best player of the year. Dare I say it?
CJG.
Because right now it's Micah Parsons to lose. But let's say Micah Parsons just happens to have a couple of stale games, and CJJ decides that, he wants to pick off at least 2 to 3 more plays. I'm gonna tell you right now, he's gonna be in DPOY conversation.
Easily.
And then on top of that, you got the 2 best corners in the game right now. I don't care who you got. You can throw any quarterback at me right now. Yes, they might be sexier name. They might be younger.
Sherm said it.
I mean, listen, I get it. The guy in Sauce is Sauce. Sauce is like, boy, he gravy. Like, he is. I put him on everything, and he just literally going to give me what I want. But at the end of the day, I got Slay. Sorry, D. I will never call you Darius. I got Slay, and then I got Brad Goat. Because I ain't calling him Barry, because there ain't nothing sweet about him. Brad Goat. Because every time he gets beat one play, he shuts you down the rest of the game. Because when he got beat in Washington, he shut him down the rest of the game. It was Slay that got beat by McLaurin. It wasn't Bradbury. Every time Bradbury gets beat one time, he gets himself together. Oh, stop! I'm in this contract year. Ain't no way in the world I'm not giving up 70 yards to nobody.
Would y'all pay Bradbury?
Yes. First off, I'm paying everybody. Everybody.
If we win.
That's the reason why Howie has got this money. And that's the reason why, listen, let Fletcher walk. Fletcher retire. Yeah. Hear me. Retire. I love you. You are everything to Philly. But baby, you need to hang it up. Because Ndamukong Suh and Joseph came off the block and did more than you the whole year. You've done nothing the whole year except do the crawl when you get a compliment sack. Or when you recover a fumble, you want to kick through the wall. But if we want to be honest, you ain't done nothing, Fletcher. You ain't done nothing in 3 years. You ain't done nothing since before the Super Bowl. We really want to be real because you ain't been great in 4 years, 5 years. You've just been a guy who's been plugging up our run. But you can't even do that this year because you're getting bullied around. And that's wild to me because you still 6-something, 300 something solid muscle. You still working out like Lane Johnson every year. But whatever it is, you need to hang it up. But I'm going to tell you now, with that money coming off the books, that's pretty much your biggest contract because everything else already expires. Everything expires. Howie's going to walk in not only with draft capital that he's going to trade away, because honestly, Howie ain't drafting that many next year. You're probably going to, if you get a top 10 pick, you can flip that.
Saints pick. I think you got to use the Saints pick.
Honestly, if I'm Howie, I flip it because you're a fan. So, of course, you want another top pick.
Nah. You
got to pay that top pick. That's what y'all forgetting to realize.
Yeah, that's 5 years from now.
No, that may be 5 years from now, but a top 10 pick carry a cap hit. And cap hits ain't small. Cap hits are different. That's why Howie's so great at being a GM.
Howie knows what he's doing. Trust me. Because he's going to listen. We see what Jordan Davis is doing, going to stopping the run. So you know what he's going to be doing? He's going to double dip and get his teammate Jalen Carter.
I'm gonna tell you now, the best defensive tackles that's coming out the draft going top 5. So you don't get a top 5 pick. You might as well just wait to the 10.
Yeah, that Saints pick is top 5 right now.
but it ain't gonna be top 5 by the end of the year. I
Saints
would,
are starting around
I
in the
would
form.
love for that to happen. We would love for them to bomb
Oh,
out.
if they lose
But
out and get a 2 or 3,
unless Chris Olave or somebody else get injured, they got a chance to at least win 2-3
Chris,
more
do you want to
games.
tell him what I said earlier? He would be mad. He would be like, I know he gonna curse me out.
What is it?
No, I'm not using that pick on him.
What?
I'm not doing that.
What?
If the pick is 1 to draft CJ Stroud,
I don't even know why you found that funny.
it was hilarious because it don't sound crazy.
Yeah, it sounds absolutely egregious.
Besides, also,
Why in the world would you ever draft CJ Stroud?
besides, if I had the number 1 pick, I draft Bryce Young.
No. Let's slow this down. Answer that. Why?
Have you seen him play?
Yes.
I have.
And I'm still trying to figure out
Bro,
why
I'm an
you
Ohio
think-
State fan, but trust me, believe me, on my board, he's quarterback too.
He texted me when we're playing Ohio State, and I watched the game because he's the one DMing me. It's because of him that I'm watching Marvin Harrison, the
Junior.
GOAT. Like,
Baby goat.
but let's be real. I want to know why. Because we had this conversation the last time I was on the air. Why am I drafting a quarterback when my quarterback's better? You're projecting. You are hoping CJ Stroud becomes what he think he's going to be. You're praying Bryce Young becomes what he's going to be. But Jalen's already showed you immense growth. Why would you even trade that away? Give Jalen his contract. I'm so tired of people talking about, well, if he don't make it to the Super Bowl, it doesn't matter. You have never, ever seen a quarterback in his 3rd year literally blow up the way Jalen has. Everybody's saying it, from Rex Ryan to Dan Orlovsky to Keyshawn Johnson to Stephen A to Bill Polian. Every single one is saying they've never seen a guy make the actual improvements from a quarterback position. Quarterbacks come into the league and it's always, what do you need to improve? And very rarely do they ever improve it. Carson never improved. Everybody you think of never improved. Michael Vick, sorry, I love him. Always one of my greatest black quarterbacks, but he did never improve. He never improved. He always relied on the fact that he could throw 99 miles per hour and he could run and evade. He never worked on his timing, never worked on his quarterback presence.
2010, I agree. I disagree.
Again,
Go back and watch
every
that season.
dog has his day.
Oh,
And you love that. You love that argument.
I love that season. That season was
Okay.
so good. He was
Because if that's the
he
case,
was that
if
was
that's the case, I
perfect
could pull
for
out
Michael Vick.
Donovan years where we thought Donovan was the greatest quarterback in the league.
There
but
was points where he was the best quarterback.
no, he
That's a
never
fact.
was.
Honestly,
Again,
That's cap.
honestly, give me 04 Donovan over 2010 Vic.
thank you. Even with the in the dirt throws, even with the throwing up during the Super Bowl.
Because lest we forget, and this is coming from avid McNabb hater, McNabb became that first quarterback to throw for 30 touchdowns in less than 10 interceptions. So all the things we're seeing in regards to what Patrick Mahomes is doing now, but Aaron Rodgers, Tom
you
Brady.
you missing one though. McNabb was the first person not only to throw for all that, but still run for 700 yards.
Yeah.
The only reason why people thought Vic was better is because Vic ran for 1,000. The only reason why people thought anybody else was better is because they didn't throw the ball into the ground as much as Donovan. But if we want to compare stats, Donovan had his day. But even then, come on, man, they don't improve. Donovan never improved. Quarterbacks don't improve. They are what they are when they get to the league. If anything, they might ascend because they have a better squad around them, but it's been proven every year. From Tom Brady never had to improve. Tom Brady was already good. The problem was Tom Brady was drafted low. Peyton Manning never had to improve because Peyton Manning was already great. Jalen improved, bro. Have you seen the beginning of the days at Alabama? I did because I'm a super college football fan. That boy couldn't throw worth a lick. He couldn't do nothing. He was just an athlete.
Yeah.
And then by the end of Oklahoma's days, he was a quarterback. And then they still wanted to throw him under the bus when he came to the league. And he still was a second-round pick. But not only that, he floundered his first whack year that he had to share with Carson. The second year, he was good, but he wasn't great. This third year, you're literally calling him MVP. And you want to draft CJ Stroud? Boy, you need to turn your mic off.
I'm sorry. I'm not taking CJ Stroud.
If anything, if I gotta pick that high and I want to take a dumb pick and hope I'm projecting, I'm taking that running back. That's who I'm taking.
I think Bixby.
No,
The
the
dude from Michigan, Cron?
no,
Leghorn
the dude that I'm about to pull it up right
from
now.
Alabama.
No, he
Gibbs?
from that squad.
Bijan Robinson from
There
Texas.
you go. That's who I'm taking if I got a top 10 pick and I want to make a dumb pick. Because honestly,
We need
I
a
can
running back.
I can let Miles
Nobody
run.
wants to
I
do
can
that.
let Miles walk.
I don't want to pay Miles.
I can let.
All jokes
It's not
aside,
a matter
if you
of-
ask me who I want to pay out of Jalen and Miles, I don't want to pay.
I would. I pay them both. Miles ain't throwing up Derrick Henry yards, so you ain't got to pay him Derrick Henry money. Miles, you can give him what, Chris, $6 million? Like, that's what my bar gonna be for you, $6-7 million a year. Jalen, I'm gonna give you 30-something million. I'm easy. And then Chauncey, I'm gonna give you money. Bradbury, I'm gonna pay you too. Because who else am I paying? Everybody getting older and is about to go.
Yeah.
Kelsey about to come off the
BG's
books.
coming off the books. Kelsey's coming off the books. Lane probably going to be restructured for the 40th time.
All we know, Samalo might be gone.
I like Opeta.
That's my point. All this money about to go. Like he said, Howie is a genius. Howie's smart. Howie ain't never make a bad financial decision. He makes bad draft capital decisions. So when you talking about money,
the Carson Wentz was a bad financial decision.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. The bad decision was Howie drafting Jalen.
That was the bad decision. And somehow he has enough built up good karma, I guess, that it wound up working out.
Quarterbacks are the biggest divas in the NFL. Do we agree or we not?
Yeah, no, they are.
Yeah.
So you tell me I got a number 1 pick. It don't have to be number 1 overall, but you know what I mean?
That's why it was bad. I was like, what's the point of paying a quarterback if you're going to invest a second round quarterback and then
because he wasn't at the time. He wasn't at the time. He drafted Jalen, and he mentioned this. He drafted Jalen because, 1, he didn't think he was going to drop that far. And then 2, once he did drop that far, I was like, why would I not pick him? And then he was like, I need insurance because Carson hasn't proved to be healthy, and he just tore his ACL. I understand that part. You're going to draft the quarterback. You don't draft the quarterback that high. You drafted a second round pick. You messed with his ego. And then this boy got to play in a city where the quarterback that won you the Super Bowl is a quarterback that ain't even starting. A backup got a bigger star than I do. Now I got to hear this from
statue.
Everybody in Philadelphia is telling me BDN is the man. Everybody in Philadelphia has asked for Jalen Hurts to be the starter. And you want to know why Carson failed? Carson failed because y'all broke him. Howie broke him. Howie apologized for it because you know you broke him. And Doug was too cowardice to stand up. I love Doug, but Doug seemed like the guy when you don't want to fight with you. Doug seems like the guy who's trying to talk it down.
Hey, buddy. Hey, guys. We don't got to do it like
Nick
that.
ain't that guy. Nick gonna walk into Howie office and be like, I know you might want to draft this quarterback. I got other plans. Let's do this. Let's compromise. Nick has more attitude about what I want. Doug is like, just get me the best players. And Doug is also a quarterback coach. So it was easy for Doug to accept the Jalen.
Because he's like, all right, I was a backup most of my career, whatever the case may be.
Not even that, but Doug already knew, like, I make quarterbacks good. I can do that with you. And you screw Carson up. Because if I'm Carson and I'm a diva and I'm the number 1 pick with $30 million in my pocket, and now I got to hear from this fan base that Nick was better. Hear from that side of the fan base that you want Jalen. And then hear from my GM who's now
could have drafted Brandon Ayuk.
That's non-committal. First off, stop. You love talking egregious.
How?
What has Ayuk done since he's been in the league?
He had 2 touchdowns last night.
That's 2 more than Jalen Reagor.
Did you really just mention 1 game?
That's 2 more than Jalen Reagor.
I went up against
you. Still hyping over the Jalen Reagor pick.
I'm still, yes. Because this man, no. This man literally said to me,
I really can't stand
no.
Let the boy go.
No.
Because it wasn't even his
Chris,
fault.
I'm sorry.
Chris,
I'm sorry.
Chris,
like, I can forgive a lot of
Listen
things.
to what he said.
I can forgive a lot of picks.
He said, I said, so you would have saw the LSU footage with Justin Jefferson and the TCU footage with Jalen Reagor and drafted Jalen Reagor over Justin
like
Jefferson.
I said, you obviously showed me that you really didn't watch TCU highlights like that. Because LSU, Justin Jefferson was the second best wide receiver on that team. And yes, he was worth the pick, but he was the second best wide receiver on the team, bro. Come on, let's stop. Jalen Reagor was doing it with no quarterback. Chris, you call yourself a college football fan. Do you not?
Yes.
Go back and watch those highlights and tell me who his quarterback was. He literally switched quarterbacks 3 times in a year. He had a guy who never even wasn't even on the first scholarship, throwing him the ball. The boy was doing stuff that he shouldn't have been doing. Jalen's problem was, again, like I explained to you, since you want to ho 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 he and giggle. Jalen literally came into this league with his hands behind his back. You want to say he had opportunity? How? What? Who was throwing him the ball? A guy who couldn't throw to the sidelines, and a guy who was too scared to throw to the sidelines. And then I had a guy who came into the league that wasn't nurtured properly. Because I told you, what was my argument for Jalen? What was my argument, Jalen? Since you want to hee ha ha, tell the audience. Why would I think Jalen would be better if he was still here?
Because you would have
No.
Him the return specialist.
No, that's not what I said. It's because Nick Sirianni would have made him good. And let me tell you why.
So if that was the case, why not just keep him at that point then?
Because it was money. It makes perfect sense.
It was only his
Bro,
third year.
again, you're not paying attention. He's a first-round pick. It doesn't matter. It's the cap hit. Understand the finances of the NFL. I can't keep allowing all these first-round picks to be on my team. That's the reason why when great teams get high picks, what do? They draft back. They trade back. They don't generally take top picks. The reason why is because you got to pay them the bread. And you say, I got to pay them for 4 or 5 years. That's true. The big money, but they still make 10. Their cap hit is still 6 and 7. Now you telling me, now I got Devontae, Quez, Jalen. I know I'm about to get an AJ. Howie already knew that. We didn't know that, but Howie already knew that. Where's Jalen going to fit, bro? Where was Jalen going to fit if we kept him this year? Where? He wasn't going to be why out 3? And how many times have we had 4 wide receivers on the field, Chris? Name me the 4th wide receiver right now.
Zach Pascal.
How many catches he got?
Like 10?
10, 15.
And
right?
when does most of his catches happen in the last couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, because I think he scored.
Because he's not really needed other than the block. The Eagles play, Nick Sirianni plays 3 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, 5 weapons, 1 running back, and then I got my special weapon in the backfield. Why in the world am I keeping Jalen Reagor? Give him a better shot somewhere else. Yes, I do believe Jalen Reagor would have thrived if he was drafted under Sirianni. No, he would not have been Jefferson. I never made that argument, but he don't need to be. Jefferson is Jefferson. Why, Chris? Why, Jamal? Why did I tell you Jefferson?
He said Jefferson is Jefferson because Kirk Cousins is one of those point guards that likes to throw the alley-oop to the same player all the time.
And so who else is Kirk throwing it to? Adam, I'm wash stealing. He don't have nobody. He only has JJ. Because I argue with you, put Jamar Chase in Minnesota. Jamar is the best wide receiver in the game. Put DeAndre in Minnesota. He's still the number 1 receiver in the game. Put Devontae in Minnesota. He's the number 1 receiver in the game. My point is, it's because when you have a quarterback that all they know how to do is airmail, your wide receiver's going to pass that. They're going to pass that. Jefferson is great. Don't get me wrong. But Jefferson's stats are inflated. They're inflated.
I'm just so inflated that the fact that he's putting up numbers that we haven't seen since Randy Moss.
Again, you're missing the point. It's inflated. You have come on, man. Go back to Kurt at Washington. Kurt was throwing it to the same guy every time.
Underrated.
He may be underrated, but am I lying? Y'all, everybody wants to talk about how great wide receivers are, but wide receivers need to get the ball. And certain wide receivers are naturally GOAT, like JJ. But you still need to get the ball. You don't pass the ball to yourself. And the more you listen, AJ Brown.
All I'm saying is this: is that after that, how we decided is like, oh, maybe drafting guys from the SEC does pan out because the following year he drafts Devontae. The following year after that, he drafts Jordan Davis. And I'm pretty sure if we do have a high enough draft pick, he's probably going to pick Jordan Davis' teammate Jalen Carter to improve the run stuff.
I love that pick. I love that pick, but I don't think it's going to happen.
That or he probably drafts Will Anderson from Alabama.
I hate that pick. Anderson's Alabama or Kentucky?
Alabama.
Okay. I want the guy from Kentucky. I want the guy from Kentucky.
Is he a pass rusher, the guy you want from Kentucky?
Yes, they're all edges. I mean, they're either DTs
oh, thank God.
or edges.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were talking about Will Levis. I'm like, ew, no, please don't do this.
Why would I want the quarterback from Penn State that went to Kentucky and became a Heisman candidate? Because I'm a Penn State fan, and I
was about
want James Franklin
please
gone.
Don't do this because like every single because my biggest fear is that
he's athleticism. That's it.
Yeah, I'm just like, no, because I already know because like. Draft season is going to come around. They're going to be like, you know what? Will Levis, I feel like it's going to be better than Bryce Young because Bryce Young, because they're going to use. I agree.
I think Will Levis is going to be better than Bryce Young. I think CJ Stroud is the one that's going to be the best out of all of them. I don't disagree with you that CJ Stroud is awesome.
No,
I just vehemently
just
disagree that you have the nerve to want to draft a quarterback when you clearly have a franchise. That's my only hang up with you. Like, why would you even mention that out your mouth? You call yourself an Eagles fan, and then you got a quarterback you're actually watching improve and become great, and you want to go back to square one?
Improve how?
Improve. You know what? Stop talking. Chris, let's keep this conversation going. Because I'm obviously you must have like had a really good day because you're not in your right frame of mind.
So like, do you fully believe that Levis is a more talented guy, or do you feel like
I don't believe he's more talented.
Okay. So what is it? His size?
It's the size. Okay. It's the mental makeup. I do believe his mental makeup is superior.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know.
Nothing about his
soft a little bit?
No, I don't think Young is soft at all. I think Young
Oh, no,
is
no.
I think Young is like a skinnier Russell Wilson. I think he has heart like a mug.
Yeah, to
But-
me, Bryce Young is brilliant.
But Bryce Young, I really do believe is going to fall. He's not Kyler Murray. And I feel like he's going to fall with the I'm just not tall enough and I'm going to get abused.
Yeah, to be honest, if Bryce Young was 6'3", there'd be no question he'd be the
Right.
first quarterback.
But what is Bryce Young, like 5'10" max?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you about to he's slender. Like he's not a big dude. And we've been seeing Bryce Young get 8 this year. 8. And if you want to be real, the best quarterback is actually the oldest quarterback,
who just
Hendon Hooker,
who just tore his ACL.
who just tore his ACL. Because the best quarterback in college is Hendon Hooker. But the problem is Hendon Hooker is also 25.
Yeah.
So you don't ever want to draft a quarterback that
Black
high.
Brandon
that's that big.
Whedon.
Yeah, Brandon Whedon was terrible.
Brandon Whedon was 28. That's very different.
Was he really that old?
He was
Yes.
28, yes.
He had played it. He had been in the minor league system that long.
That is true, man. Love baseball, but
Oh,
yeah, like I don't have none against it. But this quarterback crop is like they're great. Like they're greater than the last quarterback crop that came out. They're probably better than the last 2 that came out. But if I'm the Eagles, where I'm looking right now is trenches and running back.
Mhm.
I don't need a wide receiver. I don't need a safety. I don't need a linebacker. You don't need a safety. I give Marcus Epps crap. You don't need a safety. Marcus Epps is good. You don't need him to be anything other than CJ's sidekick. Marcus Epps plays the box, makes the big hits, let CJ roam the field. You don't need to draft another safety for that. You can sign a safety for that.
Yeah, but if I need a running back, I don't need to waste a top 5 pick on that.
You ain't never seen that boy. You ain't never seen that boy. Bijan is different. Like, go watch him. He different.
I watched.
First of all,
for LaShawn McCoy to be compared to Barry coming out of Pittsburgh, Bijan is Barry.
First of all, I've been screaming that we should get a top tier. It's the same reason Kyle Shanahan was like, you know what? Jeff Wilson, you're cool. Elijah Mitchell, you're great. Raheem Mostert, we found Jordan Scrappy. I'm going to go get some guy with some
Mostert's
talent.
problem, though, is he got hurt. Mostert would
Yeah,
have been
but
awesome.
Mostert would have been awesome. But I said it. He was like, I'm going to go get a guy who, even with a crappy offensive line, can get 15 yards. What is he going to do with me scheming for him?
No, you're right about that.
So I think the same thing with it's the same
And
thing. with,
Bijan is a lot like CMC in a way that one, he's a master evader. 2, he breaks tackles. Like that's the thing about you got guys who break tackles and you got guys who break ankles. Bijan does both. He'll break your ankle and break your tackle. Like, and then on top of that, I've seen too many highlights of Bijan literally getting caught 20 yards behind the line and taking it to the house. And that boy plays in the conference that you're talking about. He plays in the big boys conference. We ain't talking about Pac-10. We ain't talking about ACC.
Big 12 is light.
Them boys are big.
Big 12. Oh,
Texas
passing defense is
Texas
terrible.
schedule ain't never light. UT Texas, you
and they about to go to the SEC.
right. When have you ever known Texas to have a light schedule, bro?
They don't. 'cause
They play the
don't
Red
see
River
them.
Showdown every year. They play a few SEC teams. They play
They're too good of a college to only be worried about their own.
Conference at that point.
You got to play the best. That's the one thing James Franklin don't want to do because he knows you're just not that good of a coach to do it. That's why you keep playing Big Ten and everybody else, and you get your moderately good records. But you notice he ain't playing no Alabama. He ain't playing no LSU.
You don't want that, bro.
He don't want that smoke. You know who do want that smoke? Prime time. He want that smoke. And
That's
you know
I
what?
think he'll wind up leaving
Chris.
Jackson State. He's going to go to
Chris.
Florida State.
You just said it. He ain't going to Florida State. You know where he going?
Where are you going?
He going to Penn State. I'm gonna tell you why. James Franklin about to leave. They're gonna fire him. They're either gonna fire him or he's gonna leave. And
Which sucks
And-
because he became the first black coach to have 100 wins.
right, but we also agree James Franklin ain't a great coach. He's a
Yeah.
great recruiter. And Dion wants a big program. So if Florida State's not hiring him, if Oregon ain't hiring him, if
Unless Dan Lanning leaves.
right, but you get what I'm saying. Like,
And
if Dion needs to stay in the SWAC, because if you're going to leave the SWAC, you go to a program. You don't go to it's a big school and I could bring them back on the map. No, big programs about to chase Dion, big money. And I'm coming off a James Franklin. You know where they're going next. I'm going for the bigger, sexier pick out of the smaller ranks. That's Dion. They may not get Dion. I'm not saying they're going to get Dion, but I'm saying if James Franklin leave at the end of the year, I promise you $1 million. They're going to throw the checkbook at that man in the SWAC because that man is 11-0. And he's screaming to play Alabama. He's screaming to play LSU. And his recruiting is just as good.
He recruited the #1 player in the country last year. I think
He's
people forget
Dion.
that. Travis Hunter, baby.
Expectations: Deion Sanders. Reality: Lane Kiffin.
I don't dislike Lane. I don't. I just don't think Lane is what
I think he's an
Lane thinks
offensive
he
coordinator.
is. Right. I don't think Lane is what he thinks he is. But I like
I'm just
Lane.
saying, all
And I
that's-
actually think Lane is better than James Franklin on the sideline. He may not be as good a recruiter, but I think he's a better coach. James Franklin makes poor coaching decisions.
Very.
Like, the worst decision you made was starting Sean Clifford the whole year. You got an affinity. I can't stand coaches who got an affinity for older players they just don't want to let go. I would have told Sean, boy, you better leave. You better transfer because I got 2 number 1 quarterbacks behind you, Drew Allard and Christian Valu. Why the world am I still playing a 24-year-old quarterback on his 6th year of eligibility who doesn't give me Heisman stats? James Franklin's terrible for one reason. Your running back core is probably the best in the nation.
Well, listen, since we on the topic of college football, I'm going to ask a question to defer to y'all guys because I don't watch college football
Okay,
unless it's draft season.
Okay, just for the record, look, a current
Okay.
mock draft has Bijan Robinson going to Philadelphia at number 32, and with our first pick, the Saints pick, it has us getting Tyree Wilson from Tech. He's an edge rusher.
Who's winning it all? All right, rather no. Who's your Final Four? Who's your college football playoff? And
Okay.
who you got winning it?
It depends. So to be honest, that Ohio State Michigan game is gonna pretty much
So who's your four?
It's
It
gonna-
means you have to pick a winner
okay.
of that game in your mind.
George is in.
Okay.
Easy.
Yeah, I'm not intimidated by LSU. Everybody LSU. Oh, we're gonna make the upset. No, you're not.
Yeah, I'm not really intimidated by
So Georgia's going to be number 1. Ohio State is number 2. TCU just has to win the Big 12. They're going to be number 3. And number 4 is like that's where it gets like kind of muddy waters. If Michigan loses by like a field goal, I feel like they'll still be in.
So I think
What about
I don't-
What about USC?
no.
No.
That was
I'm
too easy.
just throwing
No.
people around.
No.
We get it, but
One lost Clemson.
they have a chance.
Yeah.
They
gotta
once,
win it.
once they get to their SEC,
Title game.
yeah, they definitely have a chance
Okay.
because
okay.
that's the thing about
They need a convincing win over North Carolina. though.
yeah.
Because that boy they got Mahe, he's good.
I love him.
QB1 next year.
Honestly, we talked about draft picks a little earlier. You know who I wouldn't mind?
Who?
Panay's brother,
Oh, from Morgan?
the Sewell linebacker.
Oh, Noah Sewell.
I know we
Ooh.
got a lot of linebackers, but
You can't.
You can't never.
you can't
too
have
much.
enough. And
No,
God knows
to
how many
me-
years we
no,
ain't
to
had
me-
none.
No, to be honest, I wouldn't hate it because let's just say
I wouldn't hate it because I would
you
trade
let
Kaiser for good draft
Kazir's a
capital.
1-year deal, so you just let him walk.
I would even sign him back and trade TJ. I know maybe everybody don't like that, but I really like Sewell's brother.
I'm just gonna throw out some names that exist or some teams that exist.
They're
from
not
6 to
doing it.
12.
They're not. You gotta stop now. We're already at December. But below
Like-
six,
like the
below
conf- the
6,
con-
you shouldn't even go.
Okay, so 5 through 7. Let's
Okay.
play that game.
Okay.
LSU at 5. We think they're going to lose to Georgia, so they're out. That'd
Yeah.
be 3 losses. They're done.
I really hate to say they're gonna lose to Georgia because LSU is just like I don't love them, but
It was nice to see them get back. From
no,
there.
it's not that. It's just like I'm a big Bayou dude. I just yeah, Georgia's gonna beat them.
Then, like I said, SC is 6. I know y'all said
Who?
no way. SC is 6. So if SC wins the Pac-12 title, and Ohio State blows the doors off Michigan,
That's their only way in.
I don't think Michigan gets blown anywhere. So that's why I don't think it affects anybody 6 or 7.
To be honest, it depends on Corin plays. If Corin plays, then it's
Well,
like,
my thing is if Michigan loses by like 7 points, 3 points, they're
I think
not dropping more than a
no,
a
but
spot.
like listeners, now I can't stand Michigan, but they're
good.
yeah, but like there's 3 great teams in college football this year. It's Georgia, it's Ohio State, and it's Michigan.
Yeah.
This is probably the best.
It's so crazy that this like first year we're not mentioning Alabama as one of the top 3 teams.
all right. Well, it's funny
No,
the
because
last
no-
team number 7 is Alabama.
Yeah,
well,
'cause-
they always have a shot because it's Bama and it's Saban. But
Yeah, honestly, like Alabama's not that good this year, and honestly, the only reason why they've been kept afloat this year is because if they had any other quarterback not named Bryce Young, they'd be out of it.
right, and they're also not that good this year is because all their wide receivers drafted last year. Michi,
That
Waddle, Smith,
Williams.
they lost.
Jameson went.
They lost
Their cupboard
their
is bare.
whole bare. Like, and they like, yeah, they always get like top recruits, but
Yeah,
you couldn't get 80 number 1 wide receivers. You
And-
had 5 at one time,
and
so
let's-
they all had to leave first.
and let's be real, like they barely beat Texas.
Definitely,
Yeah, because
because
let's
Bijan almost beat them.
Yeah.
The guy that I want.
Yeah, like if their starting quarterback doesn't get hurt, like if Quinn Ewers didn't get hurt, then that's a completely different story.
That's what I'm telling you. Howie is going to trade back if he gets a top 5 pick. If I'm Howie.
Well, what about this? You can still use our pick at that point. Let's say we win the Super or get to the Super Bowl.
So,
You can
okay,
use that
this is
pick.
the only scenario in which I see us taking that top pick and actually using it. We pretty much trade the rest of the draft.
I'm fine with that.
I'm super fine.
No,
with
no,
that.
no.
We get 2 first rounders and trade everything else.
Right, we're good with that. But I'm saying that is literally the only way I see Howie taking a top 5 pick. Because again, great
Gotta pay that
teams
guy.
don't take top picks if they got them. It don't matter if they got them. They don't really take them unless they really have a necessary need. And yes, we do have necessary needs, but Howie also does draft well. We had this argument. Howie, outside of the couple of first round busts that he's had,
Everything else
and we
is-
hold that on him so heavy, Howie
He knows how to draft.
and he drafts late rounds better than anybody in the league next
Yeah.
to Bill Belichick.
Yes.
So I don't need a top pick.
All I'm saying is
My team's already
all I'm
top.
going to say is this: Jalen Carter is the perfect storm.
Oh, you put Jalen next to Jaden or
Jordan?
to Davis
Yes,
with Sweat with
Yes.
Hassan.
because look at him. Because
Oh, that's filthy.
Hargrave's going to be a cap
That's
casualty.
filthy.
Hargrave's a cap casualty. Fletcher only re-signed restricted structure.
Wait,
bring
we're
it-
getting rid of
we
Hargrave.
bring
You
Hargrave back.
bringing
We bring Hargrave back,
Hargrave's been
boy.
a monster.
We bring Hargrave back.
No.
Okay. We definitely. That's why we're letting Cox go.
I like
honestly,
I'm about to say Fletcher's gone. Joseph's only a 1 year.
BG's
deal.
Brand is
BG's
gone.
Brand BG's
so
gone.
you're definitely bringing Hargrave back.
Yeah.
You got the money.
I mean, yeah.
Because if we just took it position by position, let's say we don't even know numbers. Let's say we're all mathematically dumb.
Mhm.
Let's just go by position. I'm about to lose $30 million, $25 million on that front line.
Easily.
I can't pay Hargrave.
No, 30. You were right. Because BG's making 15 too. And then Fletcher was like 1 year, 14.
Yeah, but okay, so I can't pay Hargrave.
Yeah.
I just got rid of.
You can pay
I got rid of
10
two
that.
big
pay-
time.
Hold on, let me double check.
Kelsey is what?
Probably another 12.
8? No, he ain't
Probably
that
another
high.
8 to 10.
So I take that, and then I
Almost
flip
40
that
million.
into Gardner Johnson. We're talking
Yes, I'm
number for
keeping
number.
CJ. No,
Okay.
I'm keeping CJ.
Talk number for
Hold
number.
on. Hargrave's cap number this year 17 million. 2023, they have an option to void it next year, but if they don't,
They will. How he always does that.
Yeah, so
he's
like,
going to void it. He's going to be a free
Restructure.
agent, and he's going to.
I'm about to
resign
say
it.
if he doesn't void it, it's a near $12 million cap hit.
So but we always know how he does it. He
Yeah.
backloads his contract, so
Yeah.
so the hits never hurt at first. So when you get to that, because the one thing about Howie is he makes sure he nurtures relationships. So when you get to the point where I got to come to you about money, that's why people are so easy to give you money. Think about it. Lane Johnson took pay cut.
Hey,
Fletcher
a
Cox took
million
a pay
times.
cut. Kelsey takes pay cuts
Because I know they'll be taken care of.
because they know they're going to be taken care of. They just gave Fletcher 14 million flat. I'm gonna take away the signing bonus. I'm gonna give it to you flat. You're gonna get all your money, and then I'm gonna give you the signing bonus. Like Lurie don't mind out the pocket. I'm gonna
Especially
give
for
you
a
your
guy that
signing.
got you a Super Bowl.
See, that's the thing about Howie. Howie knows I can do this because Jeffrey Lurie is going to pay the signing bonuses. I'm going to pay that flat money. So you telling me I'm not bringing back Hargrave? I'm definitely bringing him back.
Okay.
Am I bringing back Bradbury? Why am I let him go anywhere? Unless I'm drafting a quarterback,
Do we
and
have
that's
to
not a bad
re-up-
decision because there's some great cornerbacks coming out this draft. I mean, great quarterbacks like
Do we
Sauce
have-
Gardner, great coming out
Do
this
we
draft.
have to re-up Darius?
No,
No,
Darius is
fine.
two more years, I think.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Marcus Epps is fine because I can let him go.
Like
everywhere.
right now, you can void Brandon Graham's money, and it really doesn't affect you.
At all.
At
I mean, because honestly, like, you're going to
So
have.
we got to re-sign Bradbury.
and I'm sorry, you got Barnett coming back next year. I know
I know you're right, but I'm completely not.
Barnett is no worse than Brandon Graham.
at this point in his career.
Brandon Graham does well, bro, but Brandon Graham does well off of the rushes that he can run off of. And don't get me wrong, he's a strong bull ox. Like, he'd definitely get his sacks, but his sacks come within like 6 seconds. His sacks come within broken plays. He don't get off the ball sacks. This ain't Josh Sweat bending the corner. This not, Hargrave splitting, the interior line. Brandon Graham gets late second sacks.
Yeah. Let me pose you this question. Let's just say he falls. We're at the number. We have the 31 number.
He's asking me something sexy. I like this.
Would you draft Joey Porter or would you draft Bijan?
Come on. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. I'm leaving. Because he just gave me the hardest conundrum in the world. Because he knows how I feel about JP Jr. JP Jr. next to that kid in, I want to say Cincinnati or where's the college? Best cornerback in the game. And I told you before the season started, JPJ was going to jump.
Yeah.
I told you he was going to grow because his
dad
is
the guy from Georgia. Ringo from Georgia.
Yeah. He's definitely going top 10.
Yeah.
JPJ is going to probably go top 15, top 12. The combine is going to get combine is going to show the world that JPJ is that dude.
Yeah.
Because his athleticism is off the bricks, but nobody really watches Penn State right now because they're not really that awesome. I mean, they got Nick Singleton is one of the best running backs in the league, in the game, and then outside of that, nobody's sexy. Like the wide receivers are not that great. They're okay. There's some good ones, but Sean Clifford doesn't do anything with them. So if you're asking me Bijan or Joey Porter, I'm gonna tell you now. That's why I got those 2 first-round picks. I'm trading back and I'm getting both of them, and then I still have more capital to trade again. Because think about it. Think about this. Because Jamal ain't necessarily wrong about the trading off our pick. But if I trade back my top 10 pick, I'm probably going to get a middle to late first round pick, a second round pick next year, and a late round pick this year, rather than 4th round.
Depending on where the Saints end up.
Saints are going to end up top 10. Right now we're hoping top 5, but they're going to end up top 10. We agree on that, right?
Yeah.
So a top 10 pick in capital gives you what? It gives you at least you can trade down to like the 17th spot.
Yeah.
You can trade down 7 spots, and you can still get a first round next year, a second round this year, and then what you can do is take that pick that you got next year, flip that, push that, make sure you get a Bijan and a JPJ. You saw 2 holes. Then the rest of the draft, if you do have a rest of the draft, you just literally build trenches. You just draft trenches. And you know what you do? This is the thing. Unless you're getting Jalen Carter, you don't need to draft high for trenches because you don't need pass rush. You need run stoppers. All you need is cloggers. You can get them in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th round. Yeah. Big dudes, I can get by the bushel. You may not be a pass threat, but all I need you to do is soak it up.
Yeah.
And honestly, why? Can I talk real heavy right now? If Sue and Joseph do this the rest of the year, I'm taking your 36 and 37-year-old behinds next year too.
Facts. Why not?
Because Fletch Cox showed me at 32, you can't do it. Sue only want to chase chips.
And it's
I'm about to get
Sue
you a
is
chip.
older than Fletch.
I'm about to get you a chip, and you can come. Matter of fact, get your chip, go retire, come back next year, 10th week again.
Yep. Go chill with your family.
You don't got to come back and play for me for the first 10 weeks. I don't need that. I just need you for the stretch run.
Yeah.
Because my team is about to be so good that I don't need you for the first half. Because that's the thing about the Eagles. They're ascending. Everybody keep acting like they have arrived. They're not arrived yet. Okay. They're still ascending.
All right. So let's just say you do trade back and you trade like the middle of the draft. Like middle of the first round.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, damn, man. You all right?
Yo, if I get COVID-22 off of you.
Nah.
Let's just say, the guy from Clemson, Brian Boris, is on the board. Would you take him? That boy nasty.
He's nasty. I would take him, but my heart still wants Bijan and JPJ. I mean, you really sold me on the Jalen because Jalen is easily the most athletic DT I've seen in years.
Yeah, to be honest, and also I believe
Jalen's more athletic than Jordan Davis, which is insane.
Yeah, to be honest, also I believe in if you play with each other in college, you should keep that synergy in the NFL.
Listen, if Kaiser wasn't so darn good, we would be seeing that from Dean.
Yeah, there's a reason why Chargers fans were PO'd because they got.
That's why, honestly, next year I'm actually thinking about getting rid of Edwards. I'm not. First off, I'm not letting a Ferrari sit in my garage, and that's what N'Kobe is. He's a Ferrari sitting in the garage right now because you can't. Listen, I got a Lambo right now on the road, but that Lambo about to cost me some bread. So I'm going to trade that in and pull my Ferrari out. Because N'Kobe's only, 22?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm bringing you back next year.
21.
I'm bringing you back next year at 22 with your best friend. And then let's say I do get a top 5 pick. If I get a top 5, matter of fact, screw this. If I get a top 10 pick, Chris, I'm going to take my first pick and my second pick. I'm going to put those together. And then I'm going to get myself into the top 4. And then I'm going to trade Jalen. That's how I get happy. So I'm going to take that 32nd overall, 31st overall, wherever we fall in the draft, we don't win a Super Bowl. Yeah. And then I'm going to take that pick from the Saints, put those together. And then matter of fact, no, I'm not, because that's too much capital.
Recreating
that's too much capital. That's too much capital. I'm sorry. I'm gonna take that top pick, and then I'm gonna take that second round pick, and then I'm gonna take the pick I got next year, and I'm gonna put those together. Then I'm gonna get in the top 5 pick, and then I'm gonna take Jalen. And then I still get my first round pick at the end of the year. End of the round. And then I take that and I get Bijan or JPJ if they drop. If not, then I draft a Trenchman. I would draft another trenchman because if I'm Howie, I'm only drafting trenches this year. I'm drafting the one position we don't ever like to see because Philly fans don't like seeing offensive linemen and defensive linemen drafted.
To be honest, I would love to take a tackle.
But this whole draft, that's all I want. All I want is trenches.
Yeah,
give me one cornerback. No, unless it's JPJ, and we don't sign Bradbury. That's the only way I want JPJ. But I want Bijan. Give me Bijan. Give me nothing trenches. That's all I want. Bijan and trenches, because that's all I need on the Eagles. I need a running back, either that's behind Miles Sanders.
God, I need a running back
because
that's
I will keep
Sanders.
You are so disrespectful. Miles' only problem is he's been injured. He's still one of the best running backs in the game.
Even if we don't get Bijan, I like Tank Bigsby from Auburn. I like the kid Jacobs from Alabama.
Put him behind Miles.
Yes.
Miles don't need to go nowhere. Why do you want him to go somewhere so bad? He's good, and he's playing great this year. He just ain't getting the attempts. He's averaging over almost 6 yards a carry
in his career.
And this year, he's healthy.
Thing is, fun fact, I actually saw like a crazy stat. He's averaging 5 yards a carry, which is all time in all running backs.
And if you probably compare that with how many attempts he's getting a game, I'm pretty sure he's probably the bottom of the barrel of the league.
Yeah.
We just don't run like we used to. We used to run all the time with LaShawn, and we don't run like we used to. And honestly, I wouldn't run Miles.
You know
who
used to run the ball?
Chip Kelly. I don't need to run the ball though. I mean, this thing about my team.
You said we don't need to run the ball.
No, what I'm saying is not in the way that Chip needed to. No, I don't. My weapons are better.
Listen, I like Jalen, right? And what I'm about to say.
You disrespect Jalen one more time. We ain't talking the rest of the night.
What I'm about to say has nothing to do with Jalen's disrespect. We are a better, more cohesively flowing offensive team when we run the ball.
Yes, but we couldn't run the ball the last couple
hear me out. In the past predicates off that. That's because you're not sticking with it.
That's literally a lie.
40. No.
We couldn't run the ball the last couple weeks, bro. Have you watched the games?
Okay.
We were down both games. You don't run the ball.
That Washington-Philadelphia game was not out of reach to the point where we needed to abandon the run.
Thank you. But what about Houston? We didn't run the ball to the second half. Why? Houston ain't like that up front.
Please go look up Houston's run defense.
Please do.
They're not that terrible, bro.
Please do.
They're not that terrible.
You want to bet they in the bottom third of the league?
They're not that terrible.
You want to bet they in the bottom third of the league?
What you gonna bet?
Better black them out on it.
You ain't got to black them out. Shut up.
I do got it. I can get you a black them.
You ain't got it, so don't bet me what you don't have. That's,
all right, bet $1 on it. All right, bet $1 on it then.
That's all you got?
That's how much black them out costs. What are you doing here? What are we doing here?
I'm not shaking your nasty hand. You just sneeze. That's why I'm not touching it.
I literally look like
it don't matter. That's hygiene to me. At the minute somebody sneezes, I don't want nothing to do with your body. And just because you do this, don't mean it don't spread. Can't stand people. Go ahead. I'm still waiting.
Getting into it now.
Because y'all seem you really are disrespectful to Jalen. I don't want to hear nothing from you for the rest of the year about Jalen.
Okay.
Because honestly,
Jalen's
running when Miles not running.
That's my point. Even okay,
Jalen's getting better yardage.
Stop. No, that's not even my point. You're not even.
Where's Houston stand?
Houston is dead last in terms of stopping the run. 179 yards a game.
The last couple of games they got destroyed. Yeah.
First of all, their Curry game like 230.
No, I'm about to say you're right. The last couple of games they got destroyed.
That's what
I
made
forgot
me
that.
mad because
I forgot that.
Bro,
yeah, they got
into
destroyed
the
the last
game.
couple
I'm like,
games.
this is gonna be a Miles game. All y'all Miles.
They started off the year hot. Yeah, they got destroyed the last couple of years.
Y'all got Miles in fantasy,
but they also had Derrick Henry. Miles Sanders ain't Derrick Henry.
Dude, what do we do?
Bro, Derrick Henry's Derrick Henry. Come on, shut up.
I'm gonna put your
We also had one of the better offensive lines in the league.
Man. In the league, not one of
my offensive line right now is relatively hobbled. I got a center who I'm praying stays upright right now. Praying.
You mean a guy who hasn't missed the start in 10 years?
It doesn't matter, bro. He's not missed the start in 10 years because the man literally just wants to die on the field. Doesn't mean he ain't going to die on the field.
The man just puts tape on his leg. Right. Like, all right, cool, I'm back.
But literally, the last game scared the crap out of me. He's close. He is so close to being out. And you know that, Chris. He's so close. And I love Cam Jurgens, and I know he's going to be great. Cam Jurgens is probably going to be better than Jason Kelce. I'm sorry. Jason Kelce's mentoring him. He's probably going to be better than Jason. But Jason is close to being hurt. Lane just got healthy. Landon is good, but Landon also been hurt.
Mailata is Mailata.
Mailata's great running. I'll give you that. Passing has been a little sick recently. But again, I get it. You want to run Miles into the ground. But Miles don't have the track record that you can run him in the ground. He's not Derrick Henry, bro.
But you know who you
Name
could
many
run
running
into
backs in the
ground?
league. That is.
You know you could run into the ground. Trey.
No, you
Sermon.
can't. No, you can't. There's a reason why he's on the practice squad.
By the way, I want you guys to stop right now. The Sixer game is on, and Ben Simmons at the free throw line.
I know Durant and Irving can shoot the ball,
and he made the first one.
Shooters around him, but make somebody make a jump shot, Candace.
This is spiteful.
Tell me when he hits a
I think
three.
you make somebody make a jump shot.
Whoa.
But, it's not a good
Are we-
sign for
what's the
Fizdale.
I'm
score?
not booing Ben Simmons.
It is 11-4.
That's-
yes,
of course. Nobody's playing for
I
60.
know. I know.
He made both free throws.
He's going to play well tonight.
Yes,
But
Oh,
he's
he's
going to get hammered next time he plays us. Because you're going to play against the man who's waiting to destroy you. I love the narrative that Embiid is ducking him. Do y'all understand that Embiid's going to give him 60 alone?
Yes.
Embiid's literally going to put his whole career into Ben's chest.
Real right.
You destroyed the first 4 years of my career. I'm going to destroy you.
Yep. If you had been what you were supposed to be, we would be.
If you would have just even decided to try to improve.
we'd have been.
If you would have just said, if you would have even took 4 shots in a game, not 3, just 4 shots in a game, I'm pretty sure Joel wouldn't have been so mad.
and he traveled.
Who, Ben?
Yes, Benjamin.
But I'm not going to hate. Ladies and gentlemen, I know everybody wants to dump on Ben. I'm going to tell you why I don't dump on Ben. I don't dump on Ben because Ben is what Ben is always was supposed to be. The problem is we had a good Ben. We just also had a diva Ben. We had a Ben who didn't want to improve, but our Ben is better than Brooklyn Ben. Our Ben was still one of the best, if not the best wing defender in the league.
Yep.
Our Ben was literally a 4-tool prospect. Sorry, he don't got shooting. 4-tool prospect.
One star.
But his 4 tools were all, and we were graded on a football scale, were 70s.
Yeah.
They were high. Ben literally has a mental health issue. So the reason why I don't laugh at Ben is because if you want to laugh at Ben, laugh at his theatrics when he talks. Laugh at how he plays on the court. I don't laugh at the man, though, because, again, everybody can't play in the city of the 215. The 215 is a daunting city to play in. And Ben comes from Australia via, they may be tough, but Ben was not. Ben was catered to. He went to a Florida Montverde school who was catering to him. He went to an LSU squad that literally catered to him. He's never had to actually work. So I'm not going to ever laugh at Ben. It's just, honestly, he's going to be a sad pity story in a couple years. He's going to be the shoulda, woulda, dang, I wish he could. Because if he did, he could have been better than Giannis. He could have been better than LeBron. Because it was LeBron who said it. But he never did the work that Giannis or LeBron did. Not one time. He never did the work that Joel did. Sorry, and I should have mentioned this first. He can't even sniff at Tyrese Maxey's work ethic. You can't even clean Tyrese's socks because you are not worthy of cleaning the sweat. Because you're not worthy of the court because you don't walk on it when you don't have it, when you're not on under the bright lights. You rather date Maya Jima or whatever her name was, or any other hot athlete, or be seen. Send him to LA, please. Because I promise you, he go to LA, Ben gonna become that guy. He's destined for bright lights. Just ain't our bright lights. And it ain't Brooklyn either. He's gonna be a bum in Brooklyn.
12-4 run.
Us?
Yeah.
Can you
score now?
stop mentioning the game, giving us hope?
What's the score now? 'Cause now I want
Tied at 14.
Who's playing?
Who's
playing?
Who's our starting lineup?
Oh, Tobias is back.
Oh, okay. That's your man's. That's
Who?
your man's.
Who? The Pillar Community? What time is it?
7:44.
Yeah.
Can we switch topic real quick?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what is it?
I want to tap in and sound a little bit more social.
Kyrie Irving?
Yes. Well, it's not so much Kyrie. I just want to talk about the social climate right now between anti-Semitism versus the Black diaspora. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, if it seems like I'm taking just a second, I'm just trying to wait for our third musketeer to come back. He had to properly dry his hands because he's a gentleman, and he knows, even though he got a terrible Florida Gators sweatshirt on, we're going to let that live.
My mom bought it.
All right. You know I love Mama, so I'll take that back. It's the greatest Florida Gators sweatshirt ever. All right, so.
Ooh, Montrezl Harrell. Anyway,
I'm gonna fight Chris. Because the way he did that though, I thought he yam.
he did
Oh, he did.
on a putback. Ooh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bill Barkley. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
So-
continue. Okay, serious.
Let's talk about Kyrie real quick. Just real quick.
Yeah.
Kyrie, Kanye, the whole anti-Semitism thing. And ladies and gentlemen, understand something. My name is Corey Moore. You can find me online named Corey Moore or Instagram Vision Lamar. The reason why I say that is because I hide from nothing I say. I stand on my word and I stand on it. Ain't nobody canceling me. You can try, but I don't care. So with that being said, they dogged Kyrie out.
Woo.
Dogged him. You literally took Kyrie, treated him like a mule, put a noose around his neck and hung him out to dry because I'm sorry, if you are listening to me, you are Jewish, you need to look yourself in the mirror and start asking yourself, is every single one of you okay and great in the world? Because ain't nobody in every culture great. And I'm so tired of everybody wanting to stand up for their own culture. But when it comes down to us, you want to use us as your scapegoat. Because let's be real about something. You don't want to accept the fact that there are Black Jews. Baby, go to Africa. Understand where you come from. Understand that most Jewish people in the Middle East ain't even light-skinned. They have bronze skin with woolish hair. They come from varying levels of culture. So for you to tell a Black man that he can't speak on something that inherently he is disrespectful.
Ooh.
2, for you to come at a man who, 1, necessarily never said he watched it, he shared it, he reshared it, he posted it. We all do dumb stuff like that.
Ooh.
And instead of y'all giving a chance for him to actually decide on himself, and I'll be real about this, he never really walked back his comment because as a man, he shouldn't have had to. I'm a grown behind man. I don't need another man to tell me to apologize because y'all feel some type of way. Again, this world is too sensitive. You want to call a man anti-Semitic, but y'all been throwing us racial aggressions for God knows how long. You want to touch our hair and compliment our hair when we know that's a micro racial aggression. Oh, how long it take you to get your hair like that? Can I touch your hair? Oh, matter of fact, we want to talk about microracial aggressions, and why don't nobody talk about Jason Kelce or Travis Kelce? I love them too. But if Kanye and Kyrie can't talk about Jewish community, how can Jason Kelce out of his mouth? I don't care if you flatter and complimented us, but a couple weeks ago, he said, there's a reason why you don't see no white guy playing quarterback. That's microracial aggression. I don't care what you tell me. Is it not? There's a reason why you said that. Because Jason said it. Ain't nobody more athletic than a Black man. Ain't nobody going to do what a Black man can do. But y'all can talk about us, whether it's flattering or not. The minute we talk about y'all, it's a problem. And I get it. Kanye and Kyrie talked about the money. Because what nobody wants to realize is Jewish money run this country. But they don't want to talk about it. You run banks. You run the fashion industry. You run the music industry. So you get upset. Now you want to take away everybody's sponsorships and their money because the man says something you can agree upon. But you've been doing something to us for years. Let's talk about the music industry. You want to cut our checks, but you want to turn our Black boys and girls into thugs and promiscuous women because they didn't come from that. Lil Wayne wasn't no gangster, but all of a sudden he's talking gangster stuff. That's your check talking. You want us to fill a image so you can make money. Fashion. You take our fashion and you put your ugly behind brands on it, and then you want to elevate. Sorry, I don't want to use that word. You want to elevate a man who ain't even for us in Virgil, and you want to say, "Hey, look, I gave you this." But the minute that Kanye and Kyrie say something, y'all want to dismiss them, throw them under the bus, and get rid of them. I get it. Kyrie is a guy that honestly, everybody don't like him. I don't like him. Kanye, I don't like him. He lost his mind when his mom died. But to tell the man he lying, how you know? How do you really know if they lying? Because every Black person in this world ain't great. Listen, you white, y'all agree because y'all love to tell us how we criminals and thugs. These are facts. Every Black person ain't great. There are bad Black people in the world. Every white person ain't great, i.e. Donald Trump.
Every Spanish person ain't great.
i.e. Jeffrey Epstein. But do y'all chastise and cancel your own people? Did you cancel Donald Trump? No, you're going to let him run in 2024, even though that man literally incited a riot in the Capitol. But you got a problem because he came at you. You want to know why you got a problem? Because you don't like your authority being challenged. But you tell us that it's, oh, why you got to be anti-Semitic? Tell me how Kyrie was anti-Semitic. Name me how Kyrie was anti-Semitic. When did he ever say an anti-Semitic quote? He never once did.
You just shared the link.
He shared a link. Tell me the most egregious thing Kanye said. I'll wait, because even if it was egregious, I can in kind say the exact same thing about y'all. So how about we learn to have understanding and start to bridge gaps and have conversations with each other instead of trying to cancel each other and throw each other under the bus? Because it's been far high and too long. Slavery was 400 years ago. Segregation was 80 years ago. We are in 2022 and we still clinging on to the past. We're in 2022 and we want to still cling on to the same trauma we've been living since the Holocaust. Holocaust was back in the 40s. It's 2022. If you want us to get over slavery, get over the Holocaust. That's facts.
Should get over 9/11.
If you want us to get over slavery, you want to get over segregation, get over the Holocaust. Because you really want to talk, y'all kill way more than us than they killed y'all. Y'all still killing us. Still to this day. Every time I look, Ahmaud Arbery, dead. Where is his justice? You tell him because a man went to jail, that's justice? Justice is making sure it don't ever happen again. We don't get justice. We get a slap and a oh, we're trying. Where's Breonna's justice?
Where's our reparations?
Reparations? Let's talk about reparations.
Talk
the
about
oldest people in America right now are black, and they come from the 1921 Tulsa Massacre. You want to know something? They won't give them reparations. They have been filing for reparations since they were in their 20s. They are not getting it. They are hoping, this is fact, do your research. They are hoping they die so they don't have to get them reparations. They're already 105 and 10. But you got a problem with us opening up our mouths. But you've done nothing to help us. You've done nothing to reinforce us that we actually belong here. We know we are a lost civilization in a country that never appreciated us or accepted us. We built this country. Listen to what I say. Every brick and mortar, we built this country with the blood of our ancestors.
Facts.
I don't understand how anybody can really dump on us. I don't dump on y'all. I never once ever chastised or dumped on an Asian person because I understand what y'all went through. I understand the resolution. And come on, y'all really don't want to talk. Y'all really don't want to talk. So how about instead of y'all deciding y'all want to cancel everybody, how about we start to actually just have conversations? How about we actually just start to talk to each other? And maybe through our wisdom and intellect and intelligence, we can fill the gaps in where we don't know.
How about instead of cancel culture, we just change it?
Cancel
culture and change it to accountability.
Cancel culture is the worst thing that ever happened to society, and I blame the millennials for that.
Yeah, millennials.
It is because on the backside of cancel culture, you want to get rid of everybody and choose who you want to keep.
Yep.
You cancel R. Kelly. You cancel.
There was a lot of pushback on that.
You cancel everybody that you choose to, and let's be real, the people y'all canceling the colored. You ain't canceling the white folk.
David Bowie's still popping.
Charlie Sheen's still out there popping. Donald Trump's still out there talking.
Mike Pence.
Talk about it, bro. Talk about it. You still got a man in office in Texas who literally don't give a crap about nobody but white folk, Ted Cruz. But the minute we actually say something that hurt, that we feel that is meaningful to us, y'all want to throw us under the bus. Yes, R. Kelly should have been canceled. Half of y'all culture should have been canceled. You're pedophilic. You should have been canceled. Balenciaga, cancel them. Because if y'all really want to talk, let's look at the brands y'all slap on y'all chest. Balenciaga right now got a commercial. Go look at it. Not Anderson Cooper, Carlson, that man. Carlson Tucker, I can't stand that man. Yeah. I can't stand him. He's like despicable. Even he pointed out, Balenciaga in their newest ad has papers on the desk When you zoom into the papers on the desk, it talks about a case where they were trying to overturn child pedophilia. But you got that in an ad with a kid that's holding a bear with a bondage outfit on. Are y'all canceling Balenciaga? No, you're gonna spend $3,000 and put it on your
new Balenci's on next week.
Yes, they are.
In your Balenci's.
So spare me this rhetoric that Kyrie is this and Kyrie's that. Kanye is this, Kanye is that. Black folk don't want to hear none of that until y'all take onus for your own people. And that's fact. We don't care about nothing you say out your mouth until you actually put your own people on those crosses. Yeah. You put us on crosses and crucify us. But when it's y'all want to talk about, oh, when a black kid killed somebody, he was always destined to be a criminal.
What about Chicago? It's always Chicago.
Always. We are always criminals and thugs and miscreants. When it's y'all just misunderstood. Y'all wasn't loved enough. You ain't understood. You ain't been shown compassion.
You ain't go to that art school that you wanted.
Insane how this country loves to spin the rhetoric like we so terrible. You stolen every invention that we had. Every invention. If y'all don't believe me, do your research. Everything that you look at and you use, we did. The telephone receiver was us. Refrigeration was us. The stoplight was us. Do you give us credit for anything? No, you do not. You slap your name on it and remarket it and you want to act like you did it. i.e. Adidas. i.e. all these companies now that want to take Kanye's fashions and because you got quote unquote copyrights on them, you want to market them. They've been doing this to us for years. You cancel us out and then you take our products and make money off of it. Save me the rhetoric. You get mad because you get all the black Israelites out of the Barclays Center. I don't even like them. But you know what I love? Unity. So if y'all want to unify, we can show y'all unity.
Did you see what they tried to do with Jaylen Brown?
They tried to crucify him.
You saw that?
They're going to try to crucify any one of us.
Oh, so you agree? He was like, no, what I said is I love to see unity. I love to see a bunch of black people coming behind the black man. Now, I don't necessarily agree with what Kyrie said, but I'm sorry. I'm going to take the unity. However, again, we're not killing each other and stuff like that. I can sit there and enjoy that.
And they want this thing.
Because they hate when we come together.
They hate when we come together. Every time we've come together, you know what? Chris and Jamal don't got to say nothing about this. I'll put my life on the line for this. You live in the city of Philadelphia. Do you even know what the MOVE Project is? Do you even understand what the MOVE Project is? How according to this day in history, this has still only been the only day in history where a city government has bombed their own people. Every time we do something, the Black Panthers, y'all called them a radical group and y'all dispersed them so y'all could steal the welfare from us.
Still exist.
Y'all stole food stamps from us.
The WIC program, Women, Infant, and Children.
So I end Black this Panthers. And I just ask you, instead of deciding that you would have canceled and throw somebody under the bus, how about instead of deciding that person come from such a bad disposition and don't understand anything and just a terrible person, talk to them. Listen to them, give them wisdom and intelligence, and maybe, just maybe, you'll actually become the solution instead of contributing to the problem.
That was a promo.
Yep. I think that's a good way to
recorded that.
We are.
My man.
Oh, trust me. Anyway, this has been Chris Thomas.
Jamal Thomas.
And this has been The Radical. Corey Moore. It's been a pleasure to see y'all again.
All right. Oh, don't worry. We won't cancel you. You'll be back next week. This has been the Running Back Sports Show. Sports for the culture every single Tuesday from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern. We wish you a good evening.
And happy holidays.
Yeah, man. Enjoy that turkey. Enjoy that stuff.